Both teams have made a couple of lineup changes for tonight's second game, but in goal, it's the same pair. Kirk McLean making his 27th consecutive playoff start for the Vancouver Canucks. 31 saves in a 5-0 shutout in Game 1. There was some question at the other end as to whether Trevor Kidd might get the call, but Dave King had this comment about Mike Vernon. When you look at what he's done for this team, Mike Vernon has to be the choice tonight for Game 2. Kerry Fraser is the referee. Pat DiPuzzo and Leon Stickle will work the lines. And again, Dave Jackson is the alternate referee.
The first thing you have to look at is who the official is. You want to get a sense of what the referee is going to be calling and how he's called games in the past for you. Kerry Fraser is a real straight shooter, and as long as you don't embarrass him, you're going to get a great effort and a consistent game.
Dave King has removed Michael Nylander and Chris Dahlquist from the lineup, and he's inserted Wes Walz and Kevin Dahl.
You know, one of the things King said was that you have to forget about the bad when it happens, and Pat Quinn said you got to forget about the bad and forget about the good and just concentrate on the moment.
Pat Quinn has moved Sean Antosky into the lineup in place of the injured Greg Adams. Adams, you may recall, stopped a shot in front of the net and has a deep bruise in his abdomen as a result. Kissio for Calgary. He'll shoot it in, and the Flames will try to get to the puck, but McLean clears before either Walz or McCarthy could get there. Hedican works slowly up the left side. He has Momesso with him. He pushes the puck into the corner, but Vernon clears it away from Momesso. Al McInnes can't clear. Intercepted by Jelena for Momesso, and he fires it wide. Jelena working from the corner for Momesso. Momesso knocked down by McInnes. McInnes having some problems getting out. Now with some help from Walz, he takes the puck to center ice. Kissio will dump it in, and the Flames make a change.
Well, thanks to no penalty in the first minute, already more tempo, more intensity in this hockey game. Vancouver already with a great chance. Important for the Flames to recognize that they got a break in the missed 2-on-1 that Momesso just fired.
Yes, just 12 seconds into Game 1, there was a penalty call, an icing call against Vancouver, and these are the players not in the lineup of the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Greg Adams, even though he stopped that shot and was hurt, did finish the second period, but in the third period he complained about feeling ill. He worked out today, but they decided to scratch him from the lineup. No injury problems for either Nylander or Dahlquist. Dave King just felt he wanted a change.
Here's a look at the 2-on-1. Once again, Vancouver very patient. They get a quick turnover in the Flame zone, an errant pass that's picked off. Super defensive play. Defensive play doesn't always have to be boring. A nice job by Vancouver to generate a great scoring opportunity.
Merzen flips it to the corner. Ojek tied up by Patrick. Lume pinches in from the point. Ojek centers it. Luray couldn't get into position, and Merzen has to go back into his own zone. He lost it to Reichel, and they both slide into the net, taking McLean down and taking the net off its supports. Dangerous pass by Merzen, trying to go rink wide deep in his own zone, and Reichel almost picked it off.
Well, the forechecking that Calgary has wanted to get appears a little bit earlier here. Dana Merzen tries to make a wide pass, and Reichel, who's pretty quick and crafty, got a stick on it just in time. McLean had a big choice to make as to whether he wanted to stop the Flames from going in his net or protect Dana Merzen. He made the wise choice and protected the guy that protected him 24 hours ago.
Merzen is from Calgary, and his father has been a most loyal supporter at games played here at the Saddledome.
Kind of a funny story with Dana Merzen. When he was traded from Hartford to the Calgary Flames, he was traded for Lane McDonald. Everybody thought it was Lanny McDonald. There was a huge uproar here in the city. But Dana came in and played very, very well, carried on what he had started. Calgary Wranglers here, the Hartford Whalers, and now doing a first-class job with the Vancouver Canucks.
Linden works back into his own zone. Loses it. Cruz from the corner, trying to center. Tied up, back of the net. And the Flames in this opening period more aggressive with their forechecking than they were in game one.
Well, in all of last game, Don, I don't recall very many times where Calgary hemmed Vancouver in at all.
Again, Vancouver can't clear. Titov couldn't get a good shot away as he was checked by Lumet. Now Murzin will try and move it out. He chops it up along the boards, and then Murzin spins Cruz around with a pretty good hit.
I think the intention Cruz had was to hit Murzin, but Dana Murzin is very, very strong, and if you hit him while he's expecting it, you're going to have the same result that Paul Cruz just found out about inside the blue line.
Bure couldn't go rink wide with the pass. The puck picked up by Babbage. Babbage backhands it in. McInnes starts out of his own zone. Rink wide pass for Stern. Babbage was able to block it, and then the puck picked up by Diddick. Diddick having some problems getting out of his own zone, some pushing and shoving along the boards involving Ojek and Newendijk. Roberts also took a bit of a beating and lost his helmet in the process. Ojek fires the puck rink wide, takes a hit from Newendijk. Here's Bure with a backhand shot. That's gloved by Mike Vernon, and finally the whistle goes as Roberts and Ojek have each other wrapped up in the corner. Gary Roberts wearing a protective collar as the result of a couple of hits in the back, and burner that he suffered in the neck area.
Well, when you start to get the big guys playing and the smaller guys realize that they've got to contribute, the little guys start to hit. Now Cruz tried to hit Murzin. He got wiped out. Watch Bure come out of nowhere here, and he tries to strafe Ronnie Stern after Stern tried to put the body on 44 Babbage. That's the kind of thing that lifts your bench when the little guys who don't typically take the body on a regular basis, and certainly with that kind of intensity do it, it translates right along the bench both ways. Gary Roberts is going to be sore every time he steps on the ice, whether there's contact or not, Don.
If this were a regular season game, I really doubt that Gary Roberts would play because he doesn't have full mobility in his right arm.
Well, we'll watch him a little bit, and you'll notice that he's a guy, the way he normally skates isn't real fluid, with all due respect to Gary Roberts. More body checks here as Diddick gets the elbow up on Roberts and rakes him a little bit. Roberts skates with a bit of a jerky motion. He gets there, but you'll notice how stiff he is tonight. He's moving from the torso as opposed to the neck and shoulders.
Carson gets the draw back to the point to Hedican. He dumps it behind the net. Picked up there by Musil. With Walls. Walls throws it rink wide. Roberts looks for Newendijk. Comes back to Walls, and he overskates. Jeff Brown starts away for Vancouver. Long shot, gloved by Mike Vernon. And Vernon throws it out to center ice. Here's a pass fed ahead to Roberts. Roberts going in, saved by McLean. And again, Roberts goes crashing into the net. And there's going to be a penalty call against Brett Hedican of Vancouver. Having a goaltender who can handle the puck is a definite asset.
Well, Mike Vernon has improved that part of his game, and it gives Gary Roberts this chance. Hedican hauls him down. If you remember where Roberts originally got hurt 48 hours ago, it was on a great play by Greg Adams that didn't draw a penalty. There was some discussion here in Calgary that it should have drawn a penalty. I thought it was a heck of a defensive play. Adams caught up to him and simply outmuscled Roberts. Mike Vernon hasn't had much action so far this evening. Only one shot on net. It kind of started out like that two nights ago as well.
Well, Trent Yanni has also gone to the penalty box after the initial call was made on Brett Hedican. Yanni got involved in a skirmish in the corner and drew a cross-checking minor, a hooking penalty against Brett Hedican. And twice now the Vancouver net has been dislodged, and they appear to be having some problems with those Marsh pegs in repositioning the Vancouver net.
Well, they should talk to Gary Roberts. He keeps running into those. I think if Roberts realized that they came out kind of tough, he might stop going to the net so hard.
As they say, deja vu all over again for Gary Roberts, because in game one, as you referred to the play by Greg Adams, able to haul Gary Roberts down in a similar breakaway from the blue line.
Well, not only deja vu, just like he'd seen the same thing before.
We'll leave that one alone, Pep. McInnes in this 4-on-4 situation drives it in. Fleury has it in the corner. Fleury is checked by Linden, and Ronning races after the loose puck. He has Linden with him. They cross at the blue line. Ronning looks for someone to give it to. His long shot goes wide of the net. Fleury flips it rink wide for Reichel. Reichel shoots, kicked out by McLean. Ronning goes back of his own net. Reichel heads to the Calgary bench on a change. Lume feeds it back to Ronning. Ronning being shadowed there by Nieuwendyk. Gives it off to Merzen. Merzen taken in against the boards by McInnes.
That gives you some idea of the strength of Al McInnes. Dana Merzen's 220 pounds if he's an ounce. And not many guys can handle him the way McInnes just did.
Nieuwendyk's shot is blocked by Babbage. Babbage had a strong game Monday night. He also scored a goal in addition to playing well defensively. Babbage jumps up into the play, but Craven couldn't get him to pass. Now Zalapski comes in with Patrick. A drop pass for Titov. McLean stands his ground. Titov at the side of the net almost had it given back to him by Babbage. Roberts dodges a check back to the net but can't go anywhere with the puck, and Bure starts away with Craven. Bure trying to get around Zalapski, taken out of the play. Patrick and Craven go to the loose puck in the corner. Titov also comes back. He goes rink wide to Roberts. Roberts working against Merzen, leaves it there for Zalapski, and Zalapski's shot is blocked by Lume. And both teams are now back at full strength. Going into the corner after the puck is Lume. Fleury is after him. Fleury bumps Lume, but it's Fleury who goes down. Hedekin takes the rink-wide pass. McIntyre was going for the net, but he was offside. With a Stanley Cup playoff update, here's Ken Daniel.
Don, when we last left you at Joe Louis Arena, it was 1-0 for the Red Wings, but here Bob Probert looks past and then shoots in the slot and beats Urbe on the stick side, 2-0 for the Wings. And a few minutes after that, Paul Coffey with his speed on the rush leaves one in the slot, and driving for the net is Dino Ciccarelli, who gets the goal. That puts Detroit up on San Jose 3-0. Since then, Nicholas Lidstrom has made it 4-0 Red Wings late third period.
Well, on this 4-on-4, you get a defenseman coming down on a forward. Craven backs up and does the job as Babbage comes back to solve things. It's a bit of a mishandle in the crease. Unfortunately, McLean was up and Craven got back to his feet. 4-on-4, you have to be very, very aware of all the positions on the ice. Murray Craven ended up playing defense on that rush, and Zalapski was a forward attacking Craven.
13:57 remaining in the opening period. It's still scoreless. McIntyre and Kissio were doing some bumping in the neutral zone. They had each other tied up. Barry Fraser was watching them but didn't call a penalty.
With the focus on taking the body here, it's really important that after you pass the puck, you remember that somebody might hit you.
McCarthy with a weak backhand shot that steered to the corner by McLean.
Lots of injuries result after you've made a heck of a play and you think that you're all done and you're ready to go back to center ice for the face-off after the goal. And the next thing you know, you wake up in a hospital.
Babbage chases the puck back in his own zone, and there's a penalty call as McIntyre was knocked down.
Well, this is the second time there's been a delayed penalty on a Canuck, and Calgary has ended up making it even by taking one. Vernon has one, as does McIntyre. Fair that a penalty was called, but he high-sticked McIntyre shortly thereafter, and what was going to be the second Flames power play ends up being the second 4-on-4 of this hockey game. Now, you've got Ronning and Linden out there to start. You got to watch for a guy like Bure to come out if you're a Calgary Flame, and if you're a Vancouver Canuck, you want to be aware of players like Fleury who can really turn the Jets on.
Linden's backhand and a toe save by Vernon. Al McInnes comes back with Joel Otto. Long shot kicked out by McLean. Babbage tried to chop it along the boards, but Otto gained control, but he couldn't keep it in with his attempted feed to the point to Al McInnes.
Al McInnes with a big shot from the blue line we just witnessed. In the last game, there were 12 Calgary players with one or less shots. 18 of the 31 shots came from the defenseman.
Nieuwendyk with a shot, he scores!
Calgary attacking with some speed, or more speed than what we saw 48 hours ago. The old crisscross throws the defenseman off a bit, and you see as Nieuwendyk shoots, he pulls the puck in towards his body. That changes the angle completely, and it means that McLean has to readjust. In that period of readjustment, although it's a brief fraction of a second, Nieuwendyk spots the 5-hole and gives Calgary their first goal and first lead of this young series.
Joe Nieuwendyk, 36 goals in the regular season. He missed 7 weeks after suffering a knee injury against Tampa on the 24th of February. Reichel and McInnes draw the assists on Nieuwendyk's first goal in the Calgary Flames. First goal of the postseason at 7:30 of this opening period.
I mentioned 12 Calgary players with 1 shot or less. Nieuwendyk was a guy that did not get a shot in the first game of this series.
Hedican throws it up on the right side to his defensive partner, Brown. He had a goal and an assist in Game 1. He was the scoring leader for the Canucks. Patrick and Craven bump in the corner. Nieuwendyk can't get it out. Here's Brown getting set. He shoots. Scores! Vernon got a piece of it, but not enough. Goal number 2 for Brown.
Well, what a huge goal for the Vancouver Canucks. So important to get that momentum back, or at the very least equalize it. I got to tell you, I never appreciated how hard Brown can shoot the puck. This shot does not go in if it's a regular slap shot. Now Vernon gets a piece of it, but it simply muscles its way through 99 times out of 100. When a goaltender of Vernon or McLean's stature can see a shot like that, they stop it. This was the one time that he didn't. Brown's second goal ties this hockey game at once.
Well, Jeff Brown is the offensive defenseman that the Vancouver Canucks have been lacking for several years, and he could prove invaluable in the postseason if he continues to blast them from the point like he just did.
Well, in the dressing room, there's a common phrase that goes like this: the dancers dance and the singers sing. And the Vancouver defense that play physical have done that, and the Vancouver defense that move the puck and score goals, like Jeff Brown, have done just that as well.
Hedican and Craven drawing the assists on Jeff Brown's second goal of the playoffs. The 2 goals, 4-on-4, coming 38 seconds apart. Bussel's long shot right on. Big rebound is picked up by Courtnall. There's a penalty coming against Calgary. Courtnall in across the line. Tried to feed it across to Lume, who came racing in, and it was redirected wide. And as the Flames touch it, the penalty call is made against Calgary by referee Gary Fraser. With another Stanley Cup update, here's Ken Daniels.
And let's take you to Reunion Arena for second period action with the Blues leading 1-0 on the Brendan Shanahan goal. Mike Modano takes a wrist shot from the slot. That beats Joseph. That tied up the game at 1. Russ Courtnall gave Dallas a 2-1 lead, but here Peter Nedved drops one to Brett Hull, who puts one high over Wakaluk. That ties up the game at 2 in the second period. And they're heading to late in the third period at Maple Leaf Gardens. 3 minutes to go. Chicago and Toronto still are scoreless.
Goaltending for Ed Belfour and Felix Potvin tonight.
Gary Roberts and Titov bumping Kirk McLean. Roberts gets a pair for interference for his efforts.
So it will be 4 against 3 for 13 seconds.
The key on this, to keep the impressive power play numbers that Vancouver has going, is to win the faceoff. When you're 4-on-3, if you get control, it takes you about a half a dozen seconds to generate a good scoring opportunity. Across, back and forth, down deep, and a shot.
Brown has it at the point. He doesn't shoot. Gives to Bure. Bure getting set. Gives it over to Brown. Back to Bure. A one-timer right on. And the rebound picked up by Trent Yanni. He fires it for Sandy McCarthy, who had been serving the Vernon penalty, but it went off his stick, and it's picked up by the Canucks' Bure. Now it's stolen by Joel Otto. Otto for Sullivan. He scores!
Well, Mike Sullivan and his wife just had a baby boy yesterday. Matthew's his name, and I'm sure this one will be remembered someday by Matthew. Watch Sullivan come on the right side of your screen. Unbelievable effort as he really chugs up the ice. Joel Otto gobbles up the open ice, makes a nice backhand pass to the area where Sullivan is coming to, and a perfect one-timer by a left shot on the right side. Gives Calgary the second lead of the hockey game.
Dave King was saying one of the reasons they grabbed Sullivan from San Jose on waivers back in January was his skating ability. And did he ever fly in getting up into the play to convert the centering pass from Otto? 10:36 remaining in the period. Vancouver on the power play. 1:07 remaining in the Gary Roberts penalty. Brown drives it in. Kevin Dahl was able to get to the puck ahead of Jelena, and he clears. Brown is being watched by Sullivan. He feeds Bure, back to Brown. Ahead to Ronning. Ronning is forced back by some aggressive forechecking by Sullivan. Now Otto stepped in to forecheck, but the pass goes to Linden. Linden to Bure, but it's offside. 34 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gary Roberts.
Well, Dave King, I'm sure, had his insides turning after the 5-0 loss, but I think he lived by his words a little bit. Don, been talking with him a few days ago. He continued to stress that when bad things happen in the playoffs, you have to forget about them, and when good things happen, you don't necessarily get too overexcited. Well, there was lots of bad things 48 hours ago, and lots of good things by the Vancouver Canucks. Here's a great view of Sullivan. Look at the way he continues to jump up the ice. It's so easy. You're killing a penalty. There's another guy there. You say, oh, heck, we're going to just kill this thing off. Well, he wasn't satisfied with that. His effort was rewarded with a great goal.
Cardinal goes to the corner. He leaves it there for Ronning. Back to the point for Babbitt. Back to Ronning. He chips it to Courtnall. He tried to center, but Al McInnes broke it up.
Well, you can see a much more aggressive Flames attack, and I think in part that's because Vancouver perhaps is not quite as comfortable as they were in Game 1. Now they've had a little bit of success, and they know Calgary's going to come out with more jump. They want to try to take some of that away.
Al McInnes, I think, is going to get a penalty for grabbing Trevor Linden around the net and around the neck and spinning him around. And that comes with 1 second remaining in the Gary Roberts penalty.
Well, Linden has done a great job in driving to the outside. This is what Calgary has started to do a bit more of tonight. Look at that great speed as he continues to skate. McInnes puts the grip on him just slightly, but takes him to the ice, and Fraser calls the right penalty.
Trevor Linden in Game 1 certainly got under the skin of the Calgary Flames. He played a very physical game, and Pat Quinn said for his captain to be effective, that's the way he has to continue playing in this series.
Well, there's all kinds of talk about speeches that are made in the dressing room, about things you say to players here and there. The best way to do it is to do it on the ice, and Don, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what Linden did in Game 1, and he's continuing to do it tonight. Hasn't scored a whole bunch of goals of late, but got a big one in the opening game, and that erases your memory from the last 10 games in the regular season.
Well, Linden's a native of Medicine Hat. He was telling me this morning, for the first time Monday night since he came into the National Hockey League, he has not had to purchase any tickets for family or friends. Brown lets the shot go, saved by Vernon. Roberts is out of the penalty box. Rink wide pass for Bure. He shoots, fires it wide. Linden has it along the boards. For Ronning, back to Linden. Brown's at the point. He gets it over to Bure. He faked the one-timer. Back to Brown, to Bure. Brown lets it go up high and wide. Bure is able to keep it in. Behind the net, Linden has it. Linden to Brown. Brown had some problems handling it. Had to go back to the net. Courtnall circles in the corner. Another penalty coming up against Calgary. Still 1:11 remaining in the penalty to Al McInnes, and referee Kerry Fraser has called another penalty against the Calgary Flames.
Well, at the start of the second period, the Calgary Flames had 1 minute and 47 seconds of a 5-on-3 in Game 1. They didn't take advantage of it. Vancouver was up by 1, and lots of people point to that particular 107 seconds as being key to that. Now, Dave King is really upset with Kerry Fraser. You be the judge as Yanni takes Ronning to the boards. Gets his glove up in the face. Now here's a 5-on-3 that Calgary had on Monday. Vancouver very aggressive, forced Calgary to the outside. You got to give something away on a 5-on-3. Calgary did not jump in to take advantage. Craven with a nice play here. And Vancouver killed the remaining 100 or so seconds of this after a save by McLean. The puck comes out and it's down the ice. Vancouver doesn't want the same thing to be duplicated, just opposite colors.
A roughing call against Trent Yanni, so for 1-11, the Vancouver Canucks will enjoy a two-man advantage and a wonderful opportunity to get back on even terms.
Otto's been dominant in the face-off circle. A huge draw here for both teams.
Back to the point to Brown. He's being watched by Otto, gets it over to Bure. Linden at the side of the net. Pass never got through to him as Ronning tried to center. And it's stolen and dumped out by James Patrick. Brown fell in the neutral zone and he gloved it ahead to Courtnall, and that was a wise move by Brown, because had he not been able to glove that puck, Joel Otto might have had a breakaway.
Good thinking by Brown, and great thinking a little bit earlier, Don, by James Patrick. You know, he got the puck in the corner and he could have tried to shoot it out to the point, but he knew that his backhand wouldn't go far enough, so he just laid it off in the corner, knowing that he could at least regroup. A look at Vancouver throwing the puck around. A nice job by Zalapski. Right here, just lays it off to the corner. He knows that if he goes to the boards and tries to eat it, he's going to be out of position. All of a sudden, he gets the puck back. A clever little move that goes unnoticed.
Still 49 seconds remaining in the two-man advantage. Here comes Brown for Vancouver. He fires it to the corner, races in after it himself. Carson gets the puck over to Bure. He shoots. And that, I believe, deflected off the shoulder pad of Mike Vernon and over the glass, out of play.
Now 5-on-3. You go back to your goalie and you say, Bernie, they're going to be shooting. Good luck. Bure tried to go to the roof here, hoping for a bit of a screen. Can really shoot the puck for a small guy. Vernon goes down, covering as much net as he can. Pat Quinn keeps a very calm exterior, but when the exterior of this guy starts to get a little bit upset, you want to make sure you're out of the reach of his 36 to 37-inch arms.
Between Toronto and Chicago, it's still scoreless with less than a minute to go in the third period. Real goaltenders battle. Here, Bure gets set. There's the shot right on. Loose puck in front of the net, and Musso manages to kick it to the corner. Another penalty call being made, this one against Vancouver.
And that, all of a sudden now it's 4-on-3. Vancouver, a complete turnaround on faceoffs. They've won 10 of 16 so far this evening, where those numbers were in Calgary's favor in the first game.
Otto stole again from Lume, and Otto is knocked down. Lume lost his stick and has to kick the puck to the corner for Courtnall.
You know, there's been a couple of calls tonight that are different than in game one, and all of a sudden now when little things like that happen, the crowd starts to react because they want that type of officiating to continue on if it's in the favor of the home team.
Courtnall being forced in the corner, gets it over to Lume. Lume slips it up on the right side for Linden. Linden trying to go for the net. He's tied up by Zalapski, and Fleury in the corner tries to chop it out of the zone. Titoff comes in to help out. To Zalapski, a long shot that ricochets off the glass. James Patrick jumps up into the play. Calgary defensemen have been much more aggressive in moving up into the play in tonight's game.
Boy, very, very active. And as Linden goes to the bench for a change with a busted stick, has he been active? He's really skating.
Titoff with a wraparound attempt. It missed the far corner. And now the Calgary Flames will have a power play for 47 seconds. They lead at 2-1. McInnes with a shot. Puck bounces high to the corner off the pad of McLean. Fleury has it. Fleury cross ice for Nieuwendyk, and it bounced over his stick. Back to McInnes, over to the other side. Zalapski to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk to Fleury. Fleury shoots. Saved by McLean, and the puck is cleared by Tim Hunter.
Well, some very quick puck movement by the Calgary Flames. Vancouver still aggressive on the penalty kill, doing a good job. When they do get a chance, you very rarely see McIntyre and Tim Hunter not get the puck out. Now, Reichel is a guy, Don, that is very, very good at taking what doesn't appear to be anything on a power play and turning it into something. When he's on the side of the net, he sometimes holds onto the puck a little too long, but unable to do it. When he does that, these sorts of numbers start to materialize. 93 points this year for Reichel. Titov, a very, very strong player, as he exhibits here. He gets the lid popped off him. A good trick by a defenseman, a little bit like the Muhammad Ali glove behind the neck, pull the head down, take some of the ability of your opponent to breathe away. Well, this is different. If you push the guy's helmet up just a tad, it's a little bit like sunglasses that you can't see out of. Dana Merzen went a little bit too far there on Titov and pushed the melon protector right off of his tape.
Would you run that by me again in English, please?
Well, that's a little bit of it. Knocked his helmet off, Don.
16 seconds remaining in the penalty to Murray Craven. Calgary leading by a score of 2-1. Flames control it. Reichel takes a shot. It goes off Babbage to the corner. Newendijk. One of three Flames in there fighting for the puck. Kissio comes up with it. Back to Yanni. His shot is high off the glass as the Canucks are back in full strength. Craven moves it to center ice beyond the reach of Hunter.
We mentioned Babbage at the start of the game. He was just in the corner with three Flames. Took care of all three of them.
Craven runs into Kissio and the puck is dumped down the ice. Musso goes back after it. Now it's Fleury coming in against Brown. Back to McKinnon as he shoots, and that's kicked up into the crowd by McLean. 5:02 the time remaining in the first period. 2-1 Calgary leads Vancouver. At this time we say hello to the folks who have been watching the scoreless battle that is going into overtime between Toronto and Chicago. I'm Don Whitman along with Jim Poplitsky and Ken Daniels at the Saddle Dome in Calgary, and Brett Hedican and Kelly Kissio drew minor penalties as a result of this skirmish after the whistle had gone.
Well, just like the Chicago-Toronto game, we've got a much more intense contest in the first 15 minutes of the second game of this series. Gary Fraser has been rather busy. A few minor penalties to both teams. Calgary has negated power play opportunities with a little bit of lack of discipline on two occasions. That particular replay with Kissio and Hedican, both guys going off. And this will be the third opportunity in this hockey game where we've had 4-on-4 play.
And the last time they skated 4-on-4, both teams scored a goal. 12-7, the shots on goal favor the Flames, and they lead the hockey game 2-1. Reichel against Craven. They tie each other up in the face-off circle. Dave Babbage has the puck back of his own net. Craven couldn't handle the pass. It goes loose in the boards. Picked up there by Fleury. Rink wide for Patrick. He winds and fires wide. Puck is behind Fleury at center ice. He's being watched by Craven. Over to Patrick. Another penalty coming up. This one against Bure. Fleury in across the line. His shot goes wide. Off the boards, kept in by Zalapski. Freed for Reichel. Right on the shot, and McLean kicks it to the corner. And as Babbage touches, the whistle goes, and the Calgary Flames will have a power play with Bure going to the penalty box.
Well, Bure will get a pair here for interference as he trips up Robert Reichel. Tries to slow him up, and by putting the stick out, if he had his body in front of Reichel, so Reichel had to stop and take a step around him, he wouldn't have received that penalty. Well, game one for the Calgary Flames has been very, very important. If you look at the last half a dozen years, when they have lost game one, they've only gone on to win that series on one occasion, and that was in 1989 against the same organization that the Calgary Flames are facing this evening.
Last year, you might recall, they lost the first game to the Los Angeles Kings, won the second game 9-4 in a wild shootout here at the Saddle Dome, but went on to lose the series 4-2. Dave King has taken a little different approach to getting his Flames ready for this playoff series. More relaxed, not the intensity of last year where so much time was spent with the players reviewing videotape. As a matter of fact, this morning at the skate, the team was only on the ice for about 20 minutes. Back to the point to McInnes. Over to Fleury. To McInnes. McInnes winds, shoots, scores!
John, Vancouver had a 5-on-3 a little earlier, and we said that if you win the face-off and set things up, you can get a great scoring opportunity in a half a dozen seconds. Well, a 4-on-3 is very similar. Vancouver took McInnes away in the first game. Fleury on the side. Nieuwendyk jumps out of the way, and a shot from the point took only 10 seconds to register. Another goal for Calgary. They go up 3-1, 14 shots to the 7 that Vancouver's had so far.
Al McInnes gets his first goal of the playoffs, but a lot of credit for that goal should go to Joe Nieuwendyk in front of the net, because he was probably providing a pretty good screen on Kirk McLean.
Well, when you get a goaltender, and there's no magic to this comment, that sees the puck and has been stopping it the way McLean has, you have to find a way to get in front of him. Nieuwendyk did that. Combine those two things with the bullet that McInnes fires from the point, and lots of times it turns into goals.
Fleury and Zalapsky draw the assists on the power play goal by McInnes at 15:46. Here's Roberts moving in, a backhand shot, and again Roberts goes crashing into the net and into goaltender McLean. And a penalty is being called by referee Terry Fraser on Gary Roberts.
Gary Roberts is getting an interference penalty here, and he's going to be a little owly about it.
We own one of the Chrysler minivans, and we had a chance to try this new Ford Windstar, and it is incredible. This is an extended van. It doesn't look like it.
When I turned around from my seat and saw how much room the kids have, it's great.
Now, the Windstar holds 7 people and all the luggage you want, too.
It's one of the smoothest rides we've ever had, car or van.
And quiet, too, except when the kids are making their little contribution. It's got front-wheel drive. I really like that feature. And, you know, to me, it really feels like the evolution of the minivan.
Hey, this new Pepsi Max is really something, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it tastes of regular cola and a third of the calories.
I'll grab that for a second.
Yeah, sure. What are you doing? I want to see if they filled it up a third.
Can't you just enjoy the taste
That's
without...
the only way to explain this calorie thing.
You're not going to open it, are you?
Oh, don't worry. You see, the lower pressure created by the chilling will keep the expansionary forces of the carbon dioxide at bay.
Who's going to open it?
It's elementary.
New Pepsi Max.
Oh, jeez.
All the taste, 1/3 the calories.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Gary Roberts was very upset with the call by referee Terry Fraser. He smashed his stick against the glass as he went to the box. He was lucky he didn't get a misconduct there. Goaltender interference was the call by Fraser. Let me tell you, if you don't play special teams in this series, you're not going to see a whole bunch of ice time.
Oh, you got that right. Kerry Fraser feeling that Roberts could have gotten out of the way of McLean, and because he didn't assess the penalty, I'm not sure that Roberts could have got out of the way on that particular rush.
Bure in the slot area. Over to Courtnall. Courtnall's shot is blocked, even though Vernon was down, and there's another penalty call being made. Murray Craven heads to the penalty box. There has been a constant parade, and the occupancy code over there might be in jeopardy in a moment. Well, I think a double minor.
I think that Calgary fans will like this call. I believe Craven got the first penalty, and then he got an additional 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's a tripping call and unsportsmanlike conduct against Craven.
Well, there's the first penalty. Now, lots of times you want your stick between your opponent's legs. Craven had his stick between Patrick's legs as he goes down. When you're wrestling in front of the net, sometimes that happens. I'm kind of surprised that Fraser made that call. But something that Vancouver did as well as any team I've ever seen in the game that opened this series was when there was a penalty called. They said, right or wrong, we're not discussing it, we're going straight to the bench. Well, Calgary didn't do that, and they earned a couple of more in game one. Vancouver tonight has yapped a couple of times, and it just cost Murray Craven. Remember, Don, I said at the start of the game, if you embarrass Carey Fraser, whether it's accidental or otherwise, you can run into problems. And you start yapping at this guy, and you're barking up the wrong tree. Craven did, it cost him an extra 120 seconds.
3-1 is the score here at the Saddle Dome with 3:32 remaining in the period. Elsewhere, Chris Osgood with 22 saves in blanking the San Jose Sharks 4-0. That series now moves to San Jose for the next 3 games. In the third period, St. Louis and Dallas are tied at 2. Dallas leads that series 1-0.
I wonder how tough the decision was for Scott Bowman to go with Osgood as opposed to Bob Essenson.
He kept it a secret until just before game time. McInnes with a shot, and McLean gets a piece of it. Moves it up on the right side to Diddick. Diddick and Linden in across the line. A long shot by Diddick goes wide. Babbitt shovels it to the corner. Diddick races in after it. And now Kissio and McIntyre are back on the ice. The puck is loose behind the Calgary net. Picked up there by Linden. Linden tried to center, and it was picked off by Fleury. Wide pass for Kissio. Kissio tried to go behind his back to Fleury. It was broken up at the line by Brown. Brown knocks it away from Kissio. Brown tried to go in front to Jelena, blocked by Zalapsky, and another penalty call has been made by Fraser.
Well, your comment, Don, about if you're not on special teams, you're not getting a chance to play, couldn't be more accurate, and Dave King knows it. Now, with all of these penalties and the fact that lots of guys aren't playing, something that a number of these guys may potentially do in between periods is jump on the bike. Stationary bike, put the pedals between the blade and the boot of your skate and ride it for 5 or 10 minutes, get some blood flowing because you've been sitting on your derriere. That's French for backside, Don. And although it's been a great period to watch, if the coach calls upon you, whether you're wearing a black uniform or a white one, you want to be ready to go, and a bit of a spin on the bike in between periods to get the blood flowing again in your veins.
A high sticking call against Patrick. That comes at 17:34. 4 against 3. Vancouver with the manpower edge.
I wonder how many penalties we would have gotten in game one. Gary was refereeing that one.
Well, a few guys were thrown out in game one. Half the bench might have been ejected in game one. Bure comes to the line with Ronning, feeds Ronning. Ronning tried to go cross ice, blocked by Musso. Bure has it again. Bure getting set. He lets the shot go. Ronning grabs the rebound. Now Roberts is out of the penalty box. Kevin Dahl picks up the loose puck and feeds Roberts. Roberts kills off some time as his team makes a line change. He tries to play it in off Zalapsky. It was beyond his reach. McLean has it back at the net, plays it up high in the glass, but not out. Titoff puts on the brakes, feeds it out front, intended for Al McInnes. He couldn't get a shot away. 1:22 remaining in the opening period. 3-1, the Flames lead the Canucks. The Canucks won game one, 5-0 Monday night. The series moves back to Vancouver for games 3 and 4, Friday night and Sunday afternoon. Titoff watching Lume. Lume's having some problems with him, now gets away, one hands it ahead to McIntyre. Drop pass at the line for Lume, it's picked off. Joel Otto starts back. McInnes jumps up into the play, so does Titoff. Back to McInnes, he scores! Pretty three-way passing. Otto, Titoff, and McInnes with the big defenseman, the trigger man.
Well, this is tough enough to do if you're going at half speed. These guys are full bore. They know where the pass passes are going before it gets to the stick. Talk about pinpoint passing and puck movement. There's nothing at all that Merzen can do there except hope that it hits him. What an unbelievably executed play. Newendijk and Titov setting up McInnes for his second goal, the fourth of the period for the Calgary Flames. What a beauty to watch. It doesn't matter who you're cheering for. You got to appreciate the skill and talent on that goal.
McInnes with his second from Newendijk and Titov. Fired towards the net and redirected by Vernon. Knocked down in front of the net by Vernon. Vernon is down and it's fired wide by Courtnall. Here comes Patrick. He can't get to the net. Now it's Courtnall. Dumping it down the ice with just 6 seconds remaining. It's dumped out to center ice as Reichel takes a hit along the boards from McIntyre just as the horn sounds to end period 1. But a totally different period for the Calgary Flames in Game 2 than they played in Game 1 of this series. And they lead it by a score of 4-1, outshooting the Canucks 17-9. Now let's go downstairs, and here's Ken Daniels to tell us about the first intermission.
And joining me in our studio, Don, will be the Calgary Flames' Ronnie Stern. We'll attempt to bring you overtime action from Maple Leaf Gardens between the Leafs and Hawks. We'll review the other 2 games as well. And on our Wall of Fame, Red Kelly. Our score after 20 minutes of play, it's the Calgary Flames well in control, leading the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 4-1. It's all Flames tonight, 4-1. Calgary leading Vancouver after 20 minutes with Al McInnes leading the way with a couple of goals. And joining me in the studio now, Vancouver Canucks, a 4th-round draft choice in 1986, Ronnie Stern. And for you in that first period, Ronnie, with 15 penalties called, you tired?
No, not quite. I got lots left.
I guess you do. How much of a distraction is it for you not being too much on the special teams?
Well, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's something that I've been used to, and a few of the guys, don't play much. And it's something that we have to adjust and just be ready when the time comes.
Now, back on March 5th, 1991, you were traded for Dana Merzen. Do you remember that day well?
Yeah. Phone rang, and there was a lot of talk of Jimmy Sandlak being traded. He was my roommate, so I picked up the phone, and it was Pat Quinn. I kind of said, Pat, you want to talk to Jimmy? And he said, no, actually, I want to talk to you. So I traded you today, so it was kind of a surprise.
But I guess it worked out okay. And back in 1989, you were a member of the Vancouver Canucks playing against Calgary, and you were with Bob McCammon at the time. How do you remember that series?
Oh, it was an intense series. We were definitely the underdogs, and we had nothing to lose. And so the guys were really loose, and we had a good bunch of guys who really worked hard, and a lot of veterans, too, who did the job for them.
A war of words, much like this series, has become one team calling the other team dirty?
I mean, you look at both teams, they're both physical, and I mean, you can read the paper and we can call each other names and say stuff, but I don't think it's a sense of intimidation whatsoever.
Okay, Ronnie, listen, best of luck the rest of the way, and I hope the penalties are cut down so you'll be able to get on the ice, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Ronnie Stern of the Calgary Flames. Time now for other action. The Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks in overtime at Maple Leaf Gardens. Let's take you there now, and here is Bob Cole.
The Blackhawks are on the rebound. It's kept in at the line by Weinrich. He's centered it. 3 Leafs were in front of Putman to cover up and get it out. It is Gilmore getting some room. Gilmore coming in on goal. He tried to stick handle back into the slot away from Weinrich. Clark is on it, forechecking with Gilmore behind the net. Pushed it out front. It got to the line and Gill shot it. Wendell Clark is in front of the net. Win the game, 1-0.
The Chicago Blackhawks are arguing about this one. My guess was Wendell Clark in the crease, and it may well be that McCreary's going to go upstairs and look at this on the video replay. He's talking it over right now with Linesman Vines. Burns can't believe it. We'll have to have a look. Is Wendell Clark in the crease when Gill shoots it? No! I'm sure Al
So the Maple Leafs win it 1-0 over the Blackhawks. Coming up, we'll review the other two games on this night. Our score, 4-1 Calgary leading Vancouver after 20 minutes. After one, but in the second period, the Red Wings get on the board. Chris Draper, swing around pass into the slot. There is Sean Burr, who will beat Artur Zerbe, and it's 1-0 for the Red Wings after two. But in the third period, Bob Probert, who saw a lot of ice time tonight for Detroit in a game they're playing without Steve Yzerman, he beats Zerbe to make it 2-0. Then a few minutes after that one, Paul Coffey on the rush, using his speed to go wide. Dino Ciccarelli does what he does best, goes to the net. 3-0 for the Red Wings at that point. Nicholas Lidstrom added another 4-0 for Detroit, and you have to figure Chris Osgood will see action the rest of the way. 22 saves tonight. The shutout, the Red Wings head back to San Jose for 3 games. The series tied at 1. At Reunion Arena tonight, Bob Barry looking to get his Blues even in the series. First period, 2:06 in. Craig Janney, right wing, into the slot. Brendan Shanahan, a one-time shot beating Darcy Wakaluk. 1-0 for the Blues after 1. But in the second period, Mike Modano carries into the slot, gets the shot away. This will tie up the game at 1 apiece as he beats Joseph. 22 seconds later, watch the great blast here from Russ Courtnall. No way that Joseph sees that one. 2-1 for Dallas, but St. Louis will tie it up at 2 in that second period. Peter Nedved into the slot for Brett Hull, 86 points in 70 career playoff games, 2-2 after 2. But then Mike Modano at the side of the net will bang home a loose puck. That gives Dallas a 3-2 lead over the St. Louis Blues as they play in the third period right now at Reunion Arena. Meantime, the game we just showed you, Todd Gill credited with the goal with Wendell Clark at the side of the crease. Felix Potvin the shutout. The Leafs will head back to the stadium for games 3 and 4 Saturday and Sunday night with a 2-0 lead over the Blackhawks. The first game to go in overtime these playoffs, and the Leafs win it by a final score of 1-0. And here in Calgary, our score after 1 period, it's all Flames. Al MacInnis with a couple. Calgary 4, Vancouver 1.
It's one of sport's ultimate achievements, having a place with the elite. The new Hockey Hall of Fame honors almost 300 of the game's greatest contributors. Throughout the postseason, we'll present many of them on Hockey's Great Wall. It's brought to you by Ford of Canada, a proud founding sponsor of the Hall of Fame and makers of the 1995 WinStar. Tonight, the greatest example of versatility. Red Kelly's legacy next.
Things with your mom.
Red Kelly was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1969, 2 seasons after he'd finished his career as an all-star forward with the Toronto Maple Leafs. In Toronto, Kelly was a vital cog as the club won 4 Stanley Cups. Prior to that, he was a celebrated defender in Detroit as he redesigned the role of the defenseman. Another 4 Stanley Cups was a portion of his reward. For 20 seasons, the Simcoe, Ontario native magically transformed his talent into a career that sees him today regarded as an all-time great, a gentleman and all-star. Tonight, we present Red Kelly on Hockey's Great Wall, presented by Ford of Canada. A proud founding...
With the temperature pushing 20 degrees, and it's certainly a much more pleasant evening for Calgary Flame hockey fans. Their team leading the Vancouver Canucks 4-1 after 20 minutes of play. Game 1 saw Vancouver shut out the Flames 5-0. And Calgary coach Dave King was saying this morning that he fully expected his team to be much more energized tonight. He said in Game 1, we probably weren't good enough in any phase of the game. And his team, of course, was also aided by 15 penalty calls in the opening period. Only for 4:51 did they play 5-on-5. Ewendyke from Reichel and MacInnis at 7:30. Then Brown from Hedican and Craven tied it. Sullivan shorthanded with the go-ahead goal from Otto. And then 2 goals for the Calgary Flames on the power play. MacInnis, and then MacInnis on a pretty 3-way passing play for a 4-1 lead.
Well, you had to be ready to be on special teams in the opening period. In fact, just under 15 minutes of either 5-on-4, 5-on-3, 4-on-3, or 4-on-4 play.
Still 16 seconds remaining in the penalty to Murray Craven. A double minor he picked up late in the first period.
Well, I would think the intensity of the game will drop a little bit. Calgary was really under pressure to come out with some jump, and Vancouver wanted to withstand that. They didn't leave the first period quite as close as they would have liked, but now is their opportunity as that adrenaline has drained a bit from the Flames to get get themselves back into this hockey game.
And Murray Craven is back on the ice as the Vancouver Canucks are in full strength.
And this goal really lit up the Saddle Dome and sent the Flames to the dressing room with a great feeling. Watch the passing play. Remember, this is absolute full speed, pinpoint, tape-to-tape passing. You know, we talked with Dave King this morning, Don, and one of the comments that we all agreed upon was after you're up away from the game for 2 or 3 games, you lose respect for the speed of the game. When you're watching it on TV or when you come to the PNE or the Saddle Dome or any other building to watch a National Hockey League game, get down close to the glass for a couple of shifts to respect just how difficult it is to make a play like we just saw.
Fleury threw it in front. It was knocked away to Fleury. Can't go anywhere with it. Reichel tied up by Babbage. Centering pass. Sullivan with a shot. As Reichel still managed to get the puck over to Sullivan, even though Babbage had him tied up, and Sullivan almost got his second of the game.
Well, McLean had to make a great save here. This puck was really rolling and bouncing. McLean was completely stretched. Look at this. He got it right on the tip of his glove. He needed the full 16 inches of the mesh in that pocket to snag a real floater from Sullivan.
Face-off to the right of McLean. From the face-off, Reichel drove it towards the net, and McLean made the save. Patrick and Zalapsky are forced back into their own zone by the forechecking of Ojek and Craven. Babbage waits for his mates to get back on side, played it in and hit the helmet of Zalapsky. Babbage blocks a clearing attempt at the line, into the slot for Ojek. He couldn't get a shot. Zalapsky flips it up around the boards. Babbage pinches in from the point. Causing the Flames all sorts of difficulty in their own zone. Now a lead pass for Reichel, too far for him. McLean plays it back to the net. And a whistle on the play with 18:22 remaining in the second period, and another penalty call against Vancouver, or Calgary.
From now. Before he went down, and Fraser called the penalty.
So the Flames have another power play opportunity with Babbage up. They're led by Al McInnes. For Walls. Walls knocked off the puck by Merzen. Puck loose in the corner. Roberts feeds it back to Yanni. Yanni to McInnes. He fakes it back to Yanni. Yanni lets the shot go. It's blocked. Yanni gets it back again. Over to McInnes. His shot is blocked by Hunter. Another shot from the point. McLean makes the save. Yanni has it. Dumps it to the corner. Lume plays it ahead to Hunter. He dumps it down the ice. Hunter tried to get past McInnes. McInnes was knocked down in the process. And Yanni was able to get back to the puck. Stolen by Courtnall. His shot, that's fired wide. Now Didick jumps up to Courtnall. He scores! Short-handed goal for Jeff Courtnall. He stole the puck initially, and with Didick jumping up into the play, he got it back to Courtnall, and it's a 4-2 hockey game.
The second short-handed goal of the game. Great presence of mind here by Courtnall. Vancouver a little bit coy here now, as Calgary has lost a little bit of that adrenaline, and Vancouver with some patience and some good passing as well, as Didick throws it across. Courtnall is in good position to get back if Calgary attacks on the power play, or if the pass is made to have an opportunity. Fleury dished one off that Bure and Courtnall capitalized on in game one. Well, Courtnall just did exactly the same thing to Fleury in a little different fashion in game two.
Courtnall from Didick at 2:44, the shorthanded goal for Vancouver. McInnes having some problems handling the puck. Fleury is forced to fire it back to the net to McInnes. Still 36 seconds remaining in the Babbage penalty. Courtnall has it again for Linden. Linden trying to work his way through. He was checked, and Fleury picks up the puck. Hedican will fire it off the boards and down the ice. As Zalapsky goes back after it, the Canucks change up their penalty killing. Craven is out there now. along with Bure. Golapski gets to the line. Sullivan goes to the net. The puck is fired into the corner for Reichel. And now Babbage is on the ice as the Canucks are back at full strength. Merzen for Craven. Craven leaves it at center ice, picked off by Fleury. He can't go anywhere with it. Babbage starts back for Vancouver. Babbage with a quick shot kicked to the corner. Merzen for Craven back to the net. Musil trying to get away from Craven. Craven couldn't center it, and it's flipped down the ice, and this will produce a whistle as Lume goes back to touch it for the icing against the Calgary Flames. 15:50 remaining in the second period.
At Montreal, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern Time, and we're back Friday night again, coast to coast. The Flames and Canucks from Vancouver, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern.
Courtnall with a shorthanded goal, and that's a great way to kill a penalty.
Hedican with the shot right on. Patrick skates it out of his own zone, ahead to Sullivan. Off the end board, Sullivan went racing in after it, but Jeff Brown beat him to the puck. Craven rink wide for Ojic. Ojic flips it up along the glass. Brown races in after it. Patrick gets there first. Now Zalapski throws it around the boards to the other side for Roberts. He plays it to an open wing. Nieuwendyk racing after it. Nieuwendyk going to the backhand, waits for help to Zalapski, who shot right on, and Roberts overskated the rebound and went crashing into McLean. Now Bure comes in. Bure feeds it back to the point. Brown to Hedican, a shot up high, and Vernon holds it for the faceoff. And now, as he skates off to the bench, Gino Ojic knocks down Gary Roberts. There had been a penalty call against the Calgary Flames.
Gary Roberts is receiving 2 minutes for charging as he ran into Kirk McLean. This is similar to the interference penalty that Roberts got. You've got to get out of the way of the goaltender. He's not fair game as Nieuwendyk drives and then circles. Roberts keeps coming through. Now watch in the middle of your screen as Roberts runs right over McLean. And once again, Fraser is assessing that Roberts could have gone out of the way. Now, Roberts gets a bit of a tug from Ojic and hopes to even up this ball. Remember Roberts' injury up top. Whenever he falls, even if you might categorize it as a bit of a dive, he's going to feel it as he adjusts the little bit of extra equipment that he's wearing tonight.
A charging call against Roberts. He and McLean have really been involved with each other in tonight's hockey game.
You can say that again. Calgary's power play is 1 for 4 so far tonight. They've had only 3 shots on goal on their power play. They haven't had any shots on the last 2 and 1 shot on the last 3.
A race for the loose puck. Titoff goes after it. Otto moves up with him. Titoff's shot is blocked by Brown. It goes to the corner. Titoff leaves it there for Otto. Otto dumps it back of the net. Brown trying to set things up to Linden. He dodges a check. Linden works in against Musil for Courtnall. He tried to get it back to Linden. Linden was tied up by Musil. The puck in the corner. Linden centering attempt grabbed by McInnes, and he whips it off the glass and down the ice.
Trevor Linden with a great effort busting through the Calgary defense, causing Fraser to decide whether he's going to call a penalty or not. Doesn't always happen, but he's making Fraser make the choice, and he's also making the Flames defense aware that he's going to continue to press them, not only on the outside, but on the inside as well. That's the penetration we're talking about.
Sullivan and Fleury are out penalty killing for Calgary. Dahl back into his own zone. Burry with a good move, keeps it in at the point. Courtnall goes back to the net, tried to center, it's blocked. Linden has it in the corner. He feeds the point. Bure over to Brown. Back to Bure. Bure into Linden. Brown goes for the net. Couldn't get a shot away. Center. And Courtnall couldn't get a stick on it. And the Flames clear.
Brown reading the play very, very well. Sneaking in on the right-hand side. The angle had been cut off, but a good job by Vancouver to find a hole, see if they can get that seam and generate a scoring opportunity. They've started to get some more shots this period, something that they didn't do well in the first period.
20 seconds remaining in the Roberts penalty. Martin Jelena taken in against the boards by Zalapski. Puck goes loose, picked up by Otto. And Otto will take his time as he skates it out and dumps it back into the Vancouver zone, and that should kill off the final seconds in the Roberts penalty. He now steps back in the ice. Here comes Jelena again. Jelena went for Craven, and Craven was tied up. Titov tried to get out of the zone. He was upset, and the penalty coming up against Vancouver. Roberts with a shot that deflects up high and out of play. So the Calgary Flames will have a power play with 12:39 remaining in the second period.
So you're an insurance broker.
Right.
And because you're not an employee of just one insurance company, you can show me the big picture, like an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you work for?
You.
Your insurance broker understands.
Pepsi Max.
It's new. All the taste of regular cola and a third the calories.
Yeah, sure.
Tastes good, that's all I know.
Gull la beau.
Can't you just enjoy it without the analysis, Sigmund?
What do you think stops some crazy bigwig at Pepsi from just printing up a bunch of false labels?
Jail.
Oh, brother, you are so naive.
New Pepsi Max.
Could you get him a fork?
All the taste, 1/3 the calories.
Top customers like Pat Burns love the Mazda B-Series truck deal. Get either a minimum $1,000 discount or a great rate on a Mazda personal lease. So smile, Pat.
I am smiling.
And what a lovely smile it is.
Welcome back to the Saddle Dome in Calgary, a building that will undergo extensive renovations before next season. Martin Jelena goes off for tripping at 7:21. He upended Titov along the board.
Now, the thing that Kerry Fraser has done is he's been pretty consistent from the start of this game. The teams weren't quite sure how much he'd let go, but when there's been fouls like that, he has called them, and he continues to call them.
3-2, Dallas leads St. Louis with 5 minutes remaining at Reunion Arena. Zalapski for McInnes. Kissio having some problems along the boards for Roberts. He leaves it in the corner for Reichel. Zalapski to McInnes. His shot is up high and off the glass. Hunter knocks it down the ice.
Boy, Al McInnes with a real rocket looking to go to the top of McLean's glove hand. He almost went to the top of Kissio's helmet.
Roberts gets to the line. Drops it off for Zalapski. Over to McInnes. McInnes with a shot fired wide. Zalapski at the other point leaves it for Kissio. He tried to slide it in at the side of the net for Roberts. It was deflected away from him. Merzen takes his time and he dumps it down the ice. 1 minute remaining in the penalty. Here's Nieuwendyk. But it's an offside pass to the Calgary captain.
Al McInnes has done a great job on the power play for the Calgary Flames. Of his 82 points this year, 56 of them have come on the power play. Way ahead of everybody else. The big reason for that is McInnes has not been injured to any great degree this year, and he's always been out there either with Gary Suter, now with Patrick or Zalapski. Look at Dana Merzen right in the middle there as that puck comes across. He steamrolls Kissio. I think that Kissio might thank Merzen when this series is over. If he hadn't gone down, that puck of McInnes's might have hit him.
It's not an enviable job taking up a position in front of the net when McInnes is winding up to let that big slap shot go.
Well, you learn to trust a guy too. McInnes rarely hits guys now. In practice is where you don't want to take that risk. In a game, it's not so bad if you get a welt and the puck goes in, but as Ken Daniels established with McInnes in game one, this guy has got a very, very hard shot, and it's also tremendously accurate as well.
23 seconds remaining in the Calgary power play. Here comes Nieuwendyk. Checked by Babbage. McInnes gains control of the puck again, but his pass intended for Fleury misses the mark. Now he does get it to Fleury with Walls. Fleury getting set, he shoots. It's deflected before it gets to the net. And now Vancouver Vancouver is back at full strength. Jelena out of the penalty box. Zalapski at the point for Fleury. Fleury leaves it in the corner. Wes Walz, who did not dress in game one, raced after it, but it was dumped out of the zone. And the puck is dumped in, and as McLean makes the stop, the whistle goes with 10:21 remaining in the second.
Center ice, the Stanley Cup. The tradition, the history, the chance to shoot for $1 million or one of over 25,000 official NHL prizes. Peel the sticker inside the case or call for details on entry without purchase. The Molson Canadian Stanley Cup Contest.
No, you missed. No, you
Take your best shot.
Here, the new 94 Chrysler Magic Wagon. Dual airbags, reclining integrated child seats. Built in Canada, our safest minivan ever. Dodge Caravan, Plymouth Voyager, with air, automatic V6 engine, 7-passenger seating, roof rack, and more for just $18,988. Only at your local Chrysler dealer. A dealer you can believe in.
Well, Calgary played .500 in the playoffs at home in the regular season, including game a couple of nights ago. They've been very impressive. They've been 18-10-4 in the last 32 games. They had a 4-game winning streak at home. Vancouver simply did not bother with those statistics in game one. Came in, played an outstanding hockey game, and deserved to win it 5-0.
On the power play, Calgary has cashed in on 1 of 5 chances. One power play goal, I guess you could say, was negated by the shorthanded tally they gave up. At the point, Musso plays it to an open corner. Another penalty coming up. Barry Fraser has certainly been busy with the whistle tonight.
Well, that's number 19. 19th minor penalty of the game. Hedekin and Stern get mixed up. It's jockeying for position. Stern goes down and Hedekin gets a pair.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Brett Hedekin goes to the penalty box for interference at 10:08 of the second. I talked about the Calgary power plays. We see the interference in front of the net. 1 goal and 5 power play opportunities. Calgary, on its last 4 power plays, has managed just 1 shot. Here's McInnes with a shot right on.
Well, that's something when you're on the bench, even though you've got a 4-2 lead, your team's been playing pretty well. Just as Vancouver had a handy lead a couple of nights ago and were playing well, they recognized that they had to do some other things a little bit better and kept improving their game. Power play is an area tonight that Calgary can definitely improve upon.
Reichel takes the shot. The big rebound is picked up by Merzen, and he clears. 9:19 remaining in the second period. It's a 4-2 hockey game. The Flames leading the Canucks. Reichel races into the corner after the puck. He feeds the point. McInnes to Zalapski. Into Fleury. Back to McInnes. There's the shot. Score! Deflected.
Now watch McInnes as he takes this shot. It's kind of like a smooth golf swing. He's able to take something off of it, and he does that for Nieuwendyk regularly. Very easy shot, nice and smooth. Nieuwendyk positions himself perfectly in that high slot, and with great hand-eye and countless hours of practicing deflections, Calgary is just equal to the number of goals that Vancouver got in the first game of this series. Well, Pat Quinn had things go pretty well for him in game 1 of the series. And tonight, everything's gone in Calgary's favor, and his reaction simply states that obvious fact.
McInnes and Fleury draw the assists on Nieuwendyk's second goal of the hockey game. And it's now 5-2, Calgary leading. Memesso bumping along the boards. Puck is centered. Nobody in position, and Cruz and McCarthy, who have seen very little ice time, can't do anything with it. Memesso hasn't seen a lot of ice time either. Stolen now by Didick. Didick wheels and lets the shot go off the skate to the corner, and Walls will simply relieve the pressure by hammering it down the ice, and this will be an icing call against Calgary.
Now, there was the odd grumbling after the first game, Don, where Calgary got physical and took some needless and senseless penalties at the end of the game through frustration and whatever other excuses you want to build. Vancouver said, boy, if we ever find ourselves in that situation, they kind of might have to watch for that. Well, this situation is starting to materialize. Calgary ahead by 3 now. McCarthy and Ojic, the best of pals when they played for the Laval Titans. But clearly they've made a truce not to have too many conversations while this series is going on. And we might see a little bit of the rough stuff that both of these guys discussed before this series started, and then after the shenanigans that took place the first 60 minutes of this 7-game series.
Face off to the right of Vernon. Reichel and Craven. Craven gets the draw back to the line. Hedican had no alternative but to try and dump it to the corner. Brown raced up, couldn't get to the puck in time. Bure doing a good job of coming back, takes it away from Reichel. Lapsky couldn't go anywhere with it. And as it's dumped into the corner, Calgary defenseman goes back after it again. Tried to play it off the glass for Fleury, but it was beyond him, and it's another icing call against Calgary.
Well, Joe Nieuwendyk with 36 goals this year, 7-game winners. He has been a real key for the Calgary Flames, doing a lot of important things at the right time. And as a result, Don, he was the Molson Cup winner for Calgary in the 1993-94 season.
110 points. Theron Fleury had 80, and it's quite remarkable for Nieuwendyk in view of the fact he was out of the lineup for 7 weeks.
With a serious knee injury, and he came back after a tough season. He got in a bit of a fracas with the media at the end of last year after Calgary lost the first round of the playoffs. Really came back with a vengeance and showed some spirited play. And you got to do that to win the Molson Cup.
Cruz has it in the corner. He's checked by Ronning, but the loose puck is picked up by Titov. Titov takes a hit from Linden as he dumps it into the Vancouver zone. Otto steps into Merzen, but Merzen manages to clear. It's fired back in by McInnes. Merzen has it again. Corluning. Otto stepped into Merzen. Titov and Otto come in across the line, but it's offside. Called against Calgary, and Musil and Ronnie had bumped in the neutral zone after the whistle, and then Musil and Linden have an exchange, and then Portnoy bumps into Musil.
A little bit of play-by-play after the whistle. Now when you start to put all the gear on a player, it adds an extra 10 or 15 pounds, a little bit of water, and it adds another 3 or 4. Merzen and Otto then would combine for about a quarter of a ton. Joel Otto goes to put some good body on Dana Merzen, but Merzen is very, very solid, not unlike Babbage. And if you're going to hit this guy, you got to surprise him in some way. I'm not saying hit him when he's not looking, but find a half a step so that when he thinks you're going to hit him, you don't. And when he isn't braced, you catch him. Otherwise, you're going to go down just like Joel Otto did.
Emotions between these two teams ran very high during 7 regular season meetings. Calgary with the edge, 4-2-1. And obviously, those same feelings are continuing in the postseason.
Now here is a great trick. Tim Hunter is completely innocent here. Paul Cruz, you'll see, will exchange his stick. Hunter and Cruz right at the face-off, Don. And Hunter's doing all he can here not to smile. I can guarantee you. Cruz thinks it's kind of funny, too. Watch Hunter, his right foot. Watch him step on Cruz's stick. Right there. Now, you can't see it because I think Leon Stickle is right in the way. And Hunter here is saying, no, it wasn't me. Now, if Hunter times that just a second better, the puck will drop. There's the evidence right there. He won't be able to refute that, although he is a great arguer. If Hunter times that a little bit better, the puck drops. And Cruz now has got a broken stick and has to go and get it changed.
Babbage being watched by McCarthy. Moves it ahead for Didick. Vernon played that one rather casually, letting it slide right through the crease. Now Didick has it. Didick fakes the shot over to Babbage. He lets it go. Puck kicked out. Picked up at the side of the net. They bang away at it. And there's a penalty coming against Calgary as Hunter was at the side of the net jamming away at the puck. Cruz comes in to the corner and there's some pushing and shoving. But nobody is dropping gloves, at least not yet.
Well, you've got a fair amount of beef on the ice. McCarthy and Antosky are two huge men. Timmy Hunter and Paul Cruz round out a pretty impressive bout if things ever get going. Tim Hunter's dad, Ralph, lives in town now. He didn't come to game one. Tim couldn't convince him to come. He wanted to stay and listen to Don Whitman. He did that, and I would think with the results that Vancouver had in the first game, with the superstitions that run through athletes and their families, it's worth watching this one as well.
Cruz draws a holding call at 13:22 with another update. Here's Ken Daniels.
All right, Don, let's take you to Reunion Arena. As you can see, late in the game, and Dave Gagne steals at center, a race for it with Phil Housley. Gagne gets there first, about 3 bounces into the net. That makes it 4-2 for the Dallas Stars. That game is now over. 51 shots the Stars put on Joseph. A final score as Dallas evens up, or Dallas leads their series with St. Louis now 2-0. Elsewhere, Detroit has tied up their series with San Jose, heading to San Jose for the next 3 as Detroit wins 4-0, and the Leafs in overtime beat Chicago 1-0. Back up to Don.
Power play for the Vancouver Canucks with 6:38 remaining in the second period. 5-2, the Flames lead. Brown, the lone man, back at the point. They get the puck to him, but he had problems controlling it. Linden with some good work keeps it in. Ronning scores as he was in front of Vernon, and on Linden's shot, he was able to grab it and showed some patience again to put it past Mike Vernon. It's 5-3.
You want to see hand-eye coordination and great skill. Watch little Cliffy Ronning here. He deflects the puck and isn't in a rush to get it here. Calgary doesn't clear. Watch this deflection. Enough to take it over. That's a planned play. You might think that was accidental. He deflected the puck and turned around waiting for it. Passed it to himself. What a great goal by Ronning.
Ronning's second goal of the playoffs. He scored a big goal in game 1 in the 5-0 triumph. The power play goal with Linden drawing the assist comes at 13:31. And Linden did an excellent job of keeping that puck onside.
You bet. Strong on the face-off. Calgary should have had that puck out. That space about 4 feet on the one side of the blue line is an area where you have to play desperation hockey, particularly when you're killing a penalty.
Wall's forced in his own zone. Manages to get it back again. For McCarthy, Jelena goes in against the boards against Big McCarthy. Now Memesso comes in to help out as well with 6 minutes remaining in the second period. 5-3, the Flames lead. Gotti for McCarthy. He had problems controlling it. It was chipped past him. Walls couldn't go anywhere with it. The Flames making a change. Memesso gets to the center line before he dumps it to the corner, and now the Canucks make a change. Memesso goes into forecheck. He takes Kevin Dahl right to the net. Those two tie each other up. Here comes Fleury with a shot right on, and Merzen is back after it. 5:24 remaining in the second. 5-3 to score. Dumped in, cleared to the corner, but not out as Brown at the point gets it back to the net for Bure. Bure is checked, and the puck is moved ahead to Reichel. Patrick jumps up into play, so does Zalapsky. Zalapsky takes the pass, and McLean comes out of the net to check him. Good play by Kirk McLean as Zalapsky jumped up into the play and was in alone.
You think a goaltender just has to watch for shots. McLean, as soon as that pass was made across to Sullivan, was on his way out to stack the pads. He did that. Surprised the Flame attacker and ended up saving a goal.
Hartnell with a shot right on. Back to the point. Babic scoops it in. McInnes to Titov. Titov leaves it in the corner. Cruz goes back to the net. Cruz, a backhand shot. Tried to pick the short side. Puck loose at the side of the net. Ronnie plays it up along the boards for Linden. Now it's Cruz driving it to the corner. Back to the net. Now McLean decides to play it himself. Rink-wide pass for Linden. He gets away from Roberts. Ball goes to the corner after. Head for Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk steers it down into the Vancouver zone. Courtnall banks it off the boards. Stern took a swipe at it. It hit the linesman and didn't go into the Vancouver zone. Hunter takes Yanni in against the end boards. Dahl chops it ahead to Stern. For Nieuwendyk, he has Roberts with him. Nieuwendyk drops it at the line for Yanni. Yanni is checked, and back comes Carson, but there's a penalty call in the play against Vancouver with 3:13 remaining in the period.
Brand names are important.
But getting the best price is just as important.
You don't want to pay a lot just for a name.
But at Zellers, you don't. Zellers has low prices on everything.
Pack and Play Portable Playpen, $94.97. Save 30% on all infants' character clothing. Fisher Price Nursery Monitor, only $38.97.
Brand names you can trust.
At a Zellers low price, you can't beat it, right?
You got it.
Only at your store, Zellers, 'cause the lowest price is the law every day.
Brand names, low prices.
And Club Said Rewards.
Why shop anywhere else?
We offer something no full-size pickup ever has. Four-wheel anti-lock brakes. We've thoughtfully provided a driver's airbag. Of course, we've also designed the frame and body to distribute the forces of a frontal impact and installed high-strength steel door beams to help resist the forces of a side impact. Of all the jobs this new truck was designed to handle, none is as important as the one we hope it never has to do. Dodge, reinventing the truck.
Sean Antoski gets a pair for hooking. The Flames get another power play.
.313 remaining in the second period. Calgary leading 5-3 with Antoski in the penalty box. In his first playoff game has not seen a lot of action, only a couple of shifts in this second period after not getting on the ice in the first period. In the corner, Reichel gives it around for McInnes to Zalapski, in for Fleury. Back to Zalapski. Nieuwendyk in front of the net. Zalapski lets the shot go, and Nieuwendyk couldn't get a stick on it. McIntyre against Zalapski. Had some problems, but finally was able to clear. Babic dumps it out of the zone. 1:18 remaining in the Antoski penalty. Fleury in across the line. Again, Nieuwendyk goes for the front of the net. Fleury is checked behind the goal by Babic. Out front. Reichel tried to slip it through. They score. The puck came loose, and Fleury was able to bang it in.
Well, Calgary gets a break here. Reichel makes a great play. He doesn't jam the puck back into the traffic. He waits and waits, and although Reichel does not get the goal, he's the reason Fleury has this opportunity. A bit of a tough bounce here as Diddick tries to whack it out. Look at Reichel, holds onto it, holds onto it. Fleury comes into Reichel's vacuum and has a whole pile of net to shoot at.
The third power play goal of the game for the Flames, and they lead it by a score of 6-3.
Calgary on a fair number of occasions this year have not allowed more than 3 goals. In fact, 53 of 84 regular season games. So Vancouver getting 3 tonight and 5 a couple of nights ago have done a good job in scoring goals. The focus now, though, is to stop the Flames from continuing with their onslaught.
Hedican again pinching in from the point. Meso tried to whip it around the boards for Bure. It's knocked down the ice, and Hedican has to retreat. He's being pressured there by T-Top. T-Top is knocked down. Fans reacting, thinking there would be a penalty call in the play, but it's an offside call against the Calgary Flames. Hedican even took a look at referee Kerry Fraser to see if he had been called on a penalty.
Well, Kerry Fraser has called a lot of penalties tonight. I think 21 so far. Now, he would have called this ordinarily. Hedican was already saying, hey, it was an accident. And I guess Fraser bought it. One thing, though, Fraser has been consistent so far.
Kissio grabs the big rebound, and his shot is gloved and held by Kirk McLean.
And it's so important to recognize how an official is going to call a game. It's tough when he starts one way and then changes. But as I said, Fraser has been consistent. He's called the interference penalties, the hooking penalties, penalties that have involved goaltenders. Gary Roberts has had the brunt of that, and he's done that right from the drop of the puck. So whether you've liked or disliked the job that Fraser has done tonight, the one area you can be comfortable with is he's done exactly the same thing from the puck drop till 1 minute and 38 seconds remaining in the second period.
Calgary outshot Vancouver 31-28 in game 1, but couldn't beat Kirk McLean. Tonight they've fired 29 shots at the Vancouver goaltender and managed to put 6 past him. Otto in the corner for T-Top. Cruz comes in to help out. Carson knocks the puck to the other corner. T-Top persists. He gets there. Can't find anyone to give it to. Leads it back to the net. Brown fires it down the ice. Finish being watched by Carson. Carson steals it for Jelena. He scores! Well, every time when it looks as though the Flames might be in control, Vancouver comes right back.
But we talked in the first game about finding an edge. Here's an edge. And there's been a few of them where Vancouver has found a way to come back. A miscue and a perfect pass from Carson to Jelena. Jelena with some good speed, finds nobody in front of him, and as much as Russo makes a great effort to come back, Jelena finds a hole. Now, Jelena playing with a couple of pretty impressive players, Adam Graves and Joe Murphy, was a big part of the success that the Oilers used in 1990 to win a Stanley Cup. And he doesn't look like he's lost his stride. Certainly he's been with a few teams since that time, but he can really skate, and Pat Quinn has put some confidence in him. He's been rewarded with that tonight.
All 3 members of that 1990 team that you referred to are trying to win a Stanley Cup this year with different teams. Jelena from Carson at 1854. 6-4 the score. Otto gets it. His shot is blocked. Big Merzen having problems with Roberts, leaves it back to the net for Lume. Lume feathers it ahead to Ronning. Ronning, rink-wide pass for Courtnall. Courtnall goes in deep for Merzen. Merzen couldn't get a backhand shot away as he was checked from behind by Zalapski. Zalapski back in his own zone. Fires it rink wide. It's nudged ahead by Patrick. And then at center ice, Roberts steps into Courtnall and spins him around. Bure goes in against Zalapski back to the net. And another penalty has been called.
Well, Bure has attempted to make contact a couple of different times. When you leave your feet the referee generally gives you a penalty, even if you're of the stature of Pavel Bure. Bure here jumps in on Zalapski, jumps up a bit, takes the body hard. And Fraser didn't really hesitate giving him a penalty.
A charging call against Pavel Bure with 10 seconds remaining in the period.
Undercharging, if you ever want to flip to the rule book, Rule 47 reads that a minor or major penalty shall be imposed on a player who runs, and that's the 3 steps that generally is read into the charging penalty, or jumps into an opponent. Bure jumped a bit, and now he jumps to the penalty box for 2 minutes.
Pat Quinn was talking about how he stressed discipline to his team prior to Game 1. In tonight's hockey game, there have been some undisciplined penalties taken by the Canucks.
A little bit. I was so impressed with Vancouver's discipline in the first game. You can always tell when a team is disciplined if a penalty is called and the guy goes straight to the box. Vancouver was rushing to the box after a penalty was called in Game 1. Didn't discuss it with the referee, simply went to the box and served their penance, and didn't have any retaliatory penalties. Tonight, there's been a couple that haven't been of a great nature, and there's been some chatter as well that has taken some of the focus away from Vancouver's game.
Now the Calgary Flames, leading by 2, will start the third period with 1:50 remaining in the penalty to Bure, so it's a good way for Calgary to start the third on the power play.
Well, Vancouver had a great opportunity after the goal by Jelena. Had Bure not taken this penalty, they would have at the very worst gone in 5-on-5. Now they have to kill a penalty before they start to come back from this 2-goal lead. They've done it, Don, as you mentioned, a number of times tonight, and with the edge that they seem to have been finding, it wouldn't surprise me to see this game get closer before the third period is over.
20 minutes remaining in Game 2 here at the Saddle Dome, and as the Calgary Flames head to the dressing room, they hold a 2-goal advantage, leading 6-4. Let's go down to our intermission studio and join Ken Daniels.
All right, Don, and coming up, we'll have a post-game report from Maple Leaf Gardens where the Leafs beat the Hawks in overtime. We'll also look at the other 2 games complete tonight, San Jose and Detroit, and St. Louis and Dallas. Our score after 40 minutes of play, the Calgary Flames 6, the Vancouver Canucks 4.
If you need tires, pull into a Big O Tire store today. Things are really hopping during Tire Value Days as your local Big O Tire store features the right tire for you. Presenting the Pirelli P4000 Super Touring, an all-season high-performance radial ingeniously engineered to deliver a ride that's noticeably quieter and more comfortable. The Pirelli P4000 Super Touring, an all-season tire offering you great value.
A reputation you can ride on Big O Tires.
In an increasingly complex world, we cut through the clutter. CBC News World. Immediate. Accessible. First. Find this symbol in your TV listings and stick with it. CBC News World. Canada's news and information network, 24 hours a day. We go the distance to bring you a Canadian view of the world. CBC News World. News on the hour. Information around the clock.
Theodore, he's a tugboat and a friendly tugboat too. A friendly tugboat too. Pushing and a pulling in the great big harbor, and so many brand new things to discover. Waking with the sun, gotta get the job done. Oh, Theodore, he's a tugboat and a friendly tugboat too.
Watch Theodore Tugboat Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 10.
Heart disease and stroke are Canada's #1 killer. Your donations fund education and medical advances that save more lives each year. Thanks to research, he has a pacemaker. She has a grandfather. Help give someone a second chance. Please give generously to the Heart and Stroke Foundation.
As it happens, just thinking about it makes me smile. The hosts have just the right mixture of information and joie de vivre.
This is Michael Enright.
It'll keep me in touch with things not only here in Canada.
Thanks for your calls.
Good to have you with us again.
But around the world.
Marina, you've been out in the streets of Moscow.
They bring it all together and they make it happen for us.
I'm Barbara Bunt.
I'm Michael Enright. Good night.
cars basically represent freedom, the freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you feel like it.
Style is always a consideration. In fact, if it wasn't, we'd all be driving the same car.
I think it's very important that people are able to evaluate their potential purchases from a design standpoint. We can help them do that.
If you're a camper, if you're a cowboy with a pickup truck, whoever you are, we'll be covering your car.
Driver's Seat, Saturdays on CBC.
Weekdays.
Hi there, I'm Tina Serapian.
I'm Kevin Newman. And I'm Sheldon Turcotte.
When you break for lunch,
we break the news. It's stories, it's interviews, it's all you really need.
Midday, weekdays at noon in most regions on CBC television.
Welcome back to Calgary, where after 40 minutes of play, it's the Calgary Flames leading the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 6-4. We were hoping to have Murray Craven joining us in our intermission studio here in Calgary, but unfortunately Murray Craven had his bell rung in that second period, so he's in the dressing room. He's unable to join us, but it's been a two-period total so far of 22 penalties, and Kerry Fraser had his work cut out for him, as both teams a lot of hitting in this hockey game, and it's meant some strange plays as well. 3 power play goals for Calgary, 1 shorthanded for the Vancouver Canucks, 1 power play goal as well as 1 shorthanded goal. It's been a seesaw battle throughout, with Calgary opening up a 4-1 lead at one point, but just when Calgary seems to be well in control, the Vancouver Canucks seem to come back, and right now it's 6-4, still a very close hockey game after 40 minutes of play. And still to come during our second period intermission, we'll update the other games that have taken place tonight, including heading to Toronto for a post-game report from the Leafs and the Hawks.
At its finest hour, we do it the Canadian way with Canadian journalists.
And that's what makes prime time unique in television.
Peter Mansbridge, Pamela Wallin, CBC Primetime News. If your favorite TV show has been shut out by the hockey playoffs, you can still score.
Ici passe Canada.
With the Royal Canadian Air Farce, where it's always been on CBC Radio, Sunday afternoons.
If you thought Lillehammer was great, just wait till August when the Commonwealth Games come to Victoria, BC. Hi, I'm Lynn Williams, host of On Your Mark. Join us as the preparations unfold, Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Saturday. Hi, I'm Paul Hunter. Join me for Saturday Report, a fast, comprehensive newscast with stories that are important to you.
Saturday Report at 11 on CBC television.
When it comes to muffler replacement, some muffler shops seem to have low prices. So how come they can charge you more than they advertise? Good question. That's why at GM Goodwrench Service Plus, the price on the ground is the price on the hoist. A complete Goodwrench exhaust system starts from this low price and includes a muffler guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Plus tailpipe, clamps, and labor. Expert service, honest prices. That's GM Goodwrench Service Plus.
Oh, my goodness, that's my little brother. He couldn't be more than 2 there. And you know, I think this is the only time I've ever seen him push a lawnmower. That's me. And to think I listed his house last week. I guess I'm still his big sister. I wonder who's going to cut the lawn at his new place.
They both come here to say, take charge of every day, stay alert.
Hi, I'm Gert, and this is my brother Bert.
Hi, we're here to help you stay alert and stay safe.
Yeah, so follow along.
Watch out, beware, things aren't always as they seem. We'll show you what we mean. Stay alert, stay safe.
complex world, we cut through the clutter. CBC News World. Immediate. Accessible. First. Find this symbol in your TV listings and stick with it. CBC News World. Canada's news and information network, 24 hours a day. We go the distance to bring you a Canadian view of the world. CBC News World. News on the hour. Information around the clock.
Al MacInnis and Joe Nieuwendyk have each scored twice for Calgary, both on the power play as well, and the Flames also have a shorthanded goal, 3 power play goals in all after 40 minutes. They lead Vancouver by a score of 6-4. So lots of scoring here at the Calgary Saddledome. Meantime, at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, anything but goals at a premium. With a report on that game, here is Ron McLean.
Ken, you'll remember last year in Toronto when it was Gilmore from Gill, a dramatic overtime win against St. Louis, Game 2 in double OT. Tonight it's Gill from Gilmore. 1-0 Toronto, takes a 2-0 lead in the series. First thing Cliff Fletcher did when he got here was give you a new contract. Good idea. Congratulations. How's it feel?
It just feels great, and it's something I think the whole team can be proud of. We all worked hard tonight. We came out a little slow in the first period, but we kept picking it up, and we finally got the winner. And it's nice going in there up 2.
A lot at stake. Chicago gets that victory. You're in trouble anyway. Let's look at the great moment here in overtime. Describe this.
Well, I just had the beaver tail going because Roy had it, and he just slayed it over nicely, and I just shot at the net because I knew Wendell was he's always in front of the net, and I think Belfour was more worried about Wendell than he was me, and I got lucky and it went through his pads.
There was a little moment of hesitation for the celebration. They looked like they might go to a review, but as you can see, clearly a legal goal, and there's the embrace. The other thing, Todd, we should talk about, great defensive effort with you a part of that Big Six, but how about Felix, the Cat's second career playoff shutout?
Well, he made an incredible save in the first period there that could have been a game breaker. He just dove across and robbed, I think it was Murphy or somebody, and I think this is it here. What can you say about the kid? He's just a fantastic goalie. He's only going to get better. That's the best part about it all.
Well, that's a lovely victory for you and your mates. You got a day off, and then it's off to Chicago for a Saturday night game.
Can't wait.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Todd Gill, the third star, but the hero with the game-winning goal in overtime. The Toronto Maple Leafs beat Chicago 1-0. Now back to Calgary.
All right, Ron, and from Calgary, we'll take you to Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, where Scott Bowman didn't have Steve Yzerman again tonight, but he had Chris Osgood in goal and not Bob Essensa, and it worked. Here's second period. Chris Draper wheels around into the slot for Sean Burr, and he beats Artur Zerbe to give Detroit a 1-0 lead after 2. In the third period, Bob Probert seeing a lot of ice time tonight for the Wings, just gets one past Herbe. It makes it 2-0 for the Wings, and a few minutes later, Paul Coffey on the rush. He goes wide, drops one into the slot, and Dino Ciccarelli is there to take a pounding, but he gets the goal. Nicholas Lidstrom added another celebration for Chris Osgood, who made 22 saves. He gets the shutout. The series all tied up at 1 apiece, and now the Sharks go home for 3 games, but the Red Wings back on even terms. Elsewhere tonight, Western Conference quarterfinal at Reunion Arena in Dallas. The Stars with a 1-0 lead, but it's St. Louis who gets on the board first in Game 2. Craig Janney, 2:06 in, perfect pass and a perfect shot by Brendan Shanahan. 1-0 for St. Louis after 1. But in the second period, Mike Modano carries into the zone and into the slot, and his shot will tie the game at 1 apiece. And just 22 seconds after that one, watch the blast by Russ Courtnall. That'll beat Joseph because he just doesn't see it. It's 2-1 for Dallas. But St. Louis will tie up the game at 2. Peter Nedved drops it to Brett Hull, who scores 86 points in 70 career playoff games, 2-2 after 2. But in the third period, Dallas gets the go-ahead goal. Mike Modano, side of the crease, bangs home the rebound. It's 3-2, and then as time runs out, Dave Gagne beats Phil Housley to a loose puck. 4-2. The Dallas Stars beat the St. Louis Blues to grab a 2-0 lead. The Stars with 51 shots on Curtis Joseph, and they lead the series by a score of 2-0. And our score here in Calgary after 40 minutes of play, it's the Flames leading Vancouver 6-4. Third period action coming up next from the Saddledome. Joe Nieuwendyk, Al MacInnis, 2 goals apiece tonight for the Flames.
Now there's a new degree of odor protection. Introducing Degree Deodorant Active Stick, the body heat activated deodorant that releases extra odor protection every time your body heat rises. For a new degree of odor protection.
Every day at factories like this, products like this motor oil are packaged. some with the MotoMaster Formula 2000 label, some with another famous label. The idea being people pay more for a national brand name. But when you buy MotoMaster oil at Canadian Tire, you get national brand quality that costs less. MotoMaster Formula 2000 meets the same new SH performance standards just like Quaker State, Castrol, Valvoline, and other national brands. You simply can't buy a higher-rated motor oil. MotoMaster, quality automotive products for a lot less.
Yes, definitely my trip is going to be a dream. I'm so excited because I'm going to go to Spain for 3 weeks. Oh, the food, fantastic. We used to go there to dance.
Because I always have in mind to go there, for 25 years. Do you mind to dance with me?
Of course I will dance with you.
To see how you can make more of your CIBC Classic Visa with a 5% rebate on your vacation dreams, call 1-800-465-CIBC. At CIBC, we're working to see what you see.
It's a real honor as a gas attendant to be able to come here. It's not something everybody gets to do.
Esso Supreme is our premium gasoline with a 92 octane rating. The octane that you're testing, how does that benefit the customers? You'll notice better engine performance, fewer engine knocks.
This is the engine test lab. As engines age, their requirements for octane goes up.
I would recommend Supreme now that I have seen what it can do. You gotta use Supreme.
Esso does care about the product that they sell, and they do care whether or not the customer is truly satisfied.
Tough customers like Pat Burns love the Mazda B-Series truck deal. Get either a minimum $1,000 discount or a great rate on a Mazda personal lease. So smile, Pat.
I am smiling.
And what a lovely smile it is.
Welcome back to the Saddle Dome in Calgary. The Flames take a 2-goal lead into the third period. And they will have a manpower advantage for 1 minute and 50 seconds to start with Pavel Bure still in the penalty box. 6-4. The Flames lead the Canucks after losing Game 1 48 hours ago by a score of 5-0. The Flames trying to get back on even terms. Last night, a couple of other favored teams got back on even terms.
A great goal here by Tocchet as the puck wheels around. Watch Tocchet. He hesitates and then fires it. This was a big goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and all of a sudden, they've got an opportunity to go ahead in the series after tying it up.
And the New Jersey Devils, after having all sorts of problems with Dominik Hasek in Game 1, finally solved the Buffalo goaltender in Game 2. And from the point, blast by Stevens, and it's a 2-1 New Jersey victory, and that series is tied at 1. So Calgary is also trying to bounce back after being shut out at home in Game 1.
Half of the favorites lost the home opener. A couple of them are tied up now. I guess you could argue Chicago-Toronto, Mike. I suppose you'd have to make Toronto the favorite then.
Based on regular season points, the Maple Leafs would certainly have to be favored, and the Detroit Red Wings behind rookie Chris Osgood bounced back with a 4-0 win over San Jose, and they really needed it with the series now shifting to San Jose for the next 3 games. The whistle on the play as the shoot-in bounced off the glass at the Calgary bench. Well, Murray Craven had his bell rung in the second period, but even though he's a little woozy, he is back on the Vancouver bench.
Well, he went into the dressing room for a little bit. Murray, not much emotion on that face right now.
The man who scored 60 goals this year has yet to score in this series. Pat Quinn, in commenting on the shadowing job that the Calgary Flames were expected to do, said you have to be resilient. You have to bounce back, and he's looking for Bure to do that. Calgary moving it around. Reichel for Fleury, and Fleury couldn't handle it when he initially got it, and McLean was out of position.
Remember, Don, I mentioned that Reichel is a player that sometimes takes nothing and turns it into something. All of a sudden, he's on the side of the boards. Doesn't look like there's much happening, and the next thing you know, there's a pinpoint pass that has Fleury all alone against McLean.
Zalapski leaves it in the corner for Titov. Back to Zalapski. Roberts around to Fleury. McInnes at the point. Had some problems handling the bouncing puck as he tried to feed it back into Fleury. It was knocked out of the zone. Here's a chance now for Titov. Titov scores!
Well, Jeff Brown earlier made a great play to intercept the puck and get it out, and Calgary with a super counter game turns it around. McInnes with a perfect pass to Roberts, and Roberts switches things up. You notice Titov gets that left leg out. Yakushev used to do the same thing. Look at the left leg go out, kicks the stick out of the way, so the sweep check is not successful, and with a great reach, puts his first playoff goal as Kirk McLean.
Al McInnes and Roberts draw the assists, and what a big night this has been for Al McInnes. 2 goals and 3 assists.
Well, a perfect pass to Roberts. Roberts has been the real catalyst for the Calgary Flames tonight. I haven't looked at the score sheet or kept much track, but if you watch this game closely, even if you haven't watched it closely, you recognize that Gary Roberts is the guy that set the tone in this hockey game.
Pat Quinn was saying that Calgary had success during the regular season on the power play. 4 goals with the man advantage tonight for Calgary and moving into a 7-4 lead. Shot from the point by Babbage, and that was directed just wide of Mike Vernon.
And there goes Vancouver again. Every time you think they're out, they find a way to get back in. They continue to look for that edge.
Jelena's shot goes off a leg at the side of the net. Babbage, who went driving in, tried to jam it. Puck loose in front of the goal, and Fleury starts away. His rink-wide pass bounces off a skate, then Jelena runs into him, but Jelena is the one who goes down. Seven, 7-4. Calgary in front, and here's Ronning now, trying to reduce the deficit to 2 again, and his shot is kicked to the corner by Mike Vernon. Yanni heads up the attack with Otto, and Titov his long shot high off the glass. Back of the goal, Lume has it now for Vancouver. Cartnell starts away with Linden and Ronning. Linden drops it for Ronning. He dodges a check, takes a shot wide, they score! Linden picked it up off the end boards and put it in, and again it's a 2-goal game.
Well, I get looking at games like this and I say, well, just think if Calgary wouldn't have scored the last one. And as a player, Vancouver has got to be thinking the same way. Linden, great skill here to manage to keep his feet on the right side of the goal line so he's got an opportunity. Bumps Vernon a little bit, pushes him out of the way. Nobody contests it. What a great goal by Linden after a shot that just missed by Ronning.
Ronning and Courtnall also draw assists on the goal by Trevor Linden. His second of the playoffs, and again, it's a 2-goal game. As I said earlier, every time it looks as though the Flames might have control, the Vancouver Canucks show some resiliency, bouncing back, and here they come again. Antosky in across the line, tied up by Kissio. The puck is loose. Dahl has it. Antosky bumps him. Brown drives it in. McCarthy picks it up along the boards. McCarthy knocks it out to center ice. Antosky tried to step into Walls, and it was Antosky who went down.
On 4 separate occasions now, we've had a goal by one team and then a reversal and a goal by the other. If Vancouver can find a way to do that one more time without giving Calgary the first goal, they've got an opportunity to make this game very, very interesting in the last few minutes.
Introducing a cereal from Kellogg's. Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Taste them again for the first time.
Imagine a vehicle that adapts to every situation, that adapts to every person, that answers every need. A vehicle that even adapts to the real world. The new Lumina van. It looks different because it is different.
Mike Vernon has not had an overly busy game tonight. This is his 76th playoff game in the National Hockey League Stanley Cup. Kirk McLean, on the other hand, 34 games, not quite as many as Vernon, and hasn't had the same amount of success. But you never know. Funny, both of these games, I'm sure, are different than what anybody would have expected. The first game, Calgary doesn't score. Vancouver gets a pile. This one now, a lot more scoring than you would have expected. And even if the Flames were to win, there will be some concern about allowing Vancouver so many. Vancouver will be looking at the game in a similar light.
Here comes Craven with Jelena. Babich racing for the net. Jelena was checked, and as he tried to go rink wide, it bounced away from Didick. Now Zalapsky winds up his shot right on, and with Reichel driving for the net, McLean has to hold the puck. We talked earlier about Game 2 of a playoff series in the first round for the Calgary Flames and how they bounced back. They've been scoring goals in Game 2. 9-4 last year against the Los Angeles Kings in 1990. They lost the first game 5-3 to Los Angeles in the semifinal, won the second game 8-5. So it seems they load up their shooting irons in Game 2 of a playoff series.
Well, when they win Game 2, they're 6-3. Part of that is a guy like Al McGinnis. Look at the ice time that he's logged, 19 minutes. Bure, pretty consistent, 8 minutes one period, almost 9 the next. Theoren Fleury was 7 minutes and 33 seconds in the first period. Dave King mentioned this morning that he likes to get at least 7 minutes a period to Fleury. If he doesn't get that, he finds that Fleury's not near as effective.
Puck loose in front of the net. They scramble. Titov couldn't get a shot away. And a penalty call is made. Ronning was knocked down back of the net. But the call had been made prior to that by Fraser.
Oh, Kirk Ronning, you could hear him. He said, "What the heck was that?" Kerry Fraser. And we'll see if we can't tell what it was. Joel Otto is right in the middle of things. Wants to get the dander of Linden a little bit. Bit of a pick play there.
And Dana Merson heads to the penalty box. And at the side of the net, he took down Joel Otto. And a holding infraction provides the Calgary Flames with another power play.
Well, second games have been important for the Flames. When they've won the second game, they've gone on to win the series 6 out of 9 times. Vancouver, very important in the first game. They're 1-9 in the series after they would lose the first game. When they win the series, that improves substantially. They're 500, going 4-4.
The Flames have scored on their last 3 power play attempts. In Game 1, they were 0 for 8 with the man advantage, batting .500 in tonight's game. They managed 1 goal in their first 5 chances, but they're 3 for 3 on their last 3. Now McInnes at the point, can't keep it in. Here's McIntyre racing down the left side. Can't get away from Zalapsky. Hartnell stepped into Reichel, but the puck came free to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk puts on the brakes. Back to the line, McInnes over to Zalapsky, into Fleury. It bounced away from him. Nieuwendyk gets it back to the goal. Fleury looking for someone, goes to McInnes. He tried to get back to Fleury, and McIntyre fires at the length of the ice. 51 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dana Merson. Patrick had his shoot in, go off a Vancouver skate. Roberts being watched by Linden. It comes back to the line. Yanni's shot is blocked by Linden. Yanni goes into the corner for Walls. Walls taken in against the boards by Brown. And now Linden will get an opportunity to bring it out of the zone to Courtnall. Courtnall, a long shot. Vernon handles that. Linden races in after it. Almost took it away from him. Linden has it again for Bure. Quick shot just wide. Vernon grabs the puck at the side of the net. Bure
so far in the series. Initially, the first goal on Monday night was credited to him, but further review showed that Cortland's centering pass actually went in off a leg. Dahl with a shot wide as Merzen is out of the penalty box, and the Canucks are back at full strength.
Well, 13.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Vancouver's down by a couple. You have to forget the fact that you've allowed 7 and start to mount some consistent pressure against Calgary.
Cruz chops it along the boards, too far for Kissio. Merzen now flips it to the line. Vernon comes way out of his net to play it to the other side for Dahl. Dahl takes a hit from Jelena against the end boards. Jelena has been playing a very physical game every time he's been on the ice, stepping into anybody and everybody. 13:01 remains in the third.
To discover the real difference between the world's 2 leading soft drinks, we're implementing an anthropological study. Chimp A will be allowed nothing but Coke. Chimp B, nothing but Pepsi. The results are astounding. The chimp that drank Coke showed improvement in motor skills. The chimp that drank Pepsi, however, disappeared.
Hello? It's him!
Take 1.
News World is inside the Russian parliament. There are signs.
For 8 o'clock then.
We're going to see some pretty rapid changes on this sports show. So back later this hour with a complete sportscast.
Rescue crews are somewhere. About 800,000 Palestinians.
Oh, yeah.
Live, up to the minute, CBC Morning News. Weekdays on most of these CBC stations.
Al McInnes, with a new playoff record, 5 points in 1 game, beats Kent Nielsen. Kent got 4 points in a game in the Chicago series in 1981. That was when the first series was 2 out of 3. Calgary went on to go past the first round for the first time in the franchise history that year and ended up getting beaten by Minnesota in the semifinals.
The general manager of the Flames, Doug Risebrough, defenseman Gary Sutter, and Captain Ewendyke later, after the initial mark was established by Kent Nielsen, equaled that 4-point production. But the new standard has been set tonight by Al McInnes. 2 goals and 3 assists. Hedeken gets it over to Jeff Brown. Brown had to wait as Burry was in deep. Here's a chance now for Jelena. Quick shot, and that's kicked to the corner. And penalty has been called by Kerry Fraser. Burry had been driving to the net on the quick release.
Well, Sullivan put the grip on Burry, and Fraser, who has called a number of restraining penalties tonight, sends Sullivan to the box with another one. I think that is about 24 minor penalties now. You know, this building is going to change over the next couple of years, and there's another building up north, Northlands, that will change as well.
Well, a very important meeting held tonight. Last week, Edmonton City Council approved a deal that would put $14 million into improvements to Northlands Coliseum and build a $9 million ballpark for the Edmonton Trappers. It also sees Northlands give up control of the Coliseum to the owner of the Oilers, Peter Pocklington, for $2.8 million a year. So that was approved by Edmonton City Council and Northlands. Very important meeting taking place in Edmonton tonight. So it looks as though the future of the team is secure. Brown along the boards, pokes it to the corner for Courtnall, to the other side for Linden. Back to Bure. Bure over to Brown. Back to Bure. To Brown. Brown at the side of the net. Courtnall for Ronning. Ronning jams away at it. And Vernon down makes the save. Bure couldn't get back to the point in time to keep it in the zone as Calgary clears.
Well, Vancouver has got a great opportunity here. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining on the penalty to Sullivan. With 2 goals back, 11.5 minutes remaining in the third period. If they can get close, this will be a heck of an exciting remaining 10 minutes of the third.
Here's Gary Roberts with a breakaway. Going in alone. and it went off his stick. He tried to go to the backhand and couldn't get the shot away. Ronning throws it rink wide for Brown. It's checked away from him by Fleury. He wasn't aware that where the puck had gone. And McLean flips it out to center ice. Roberts plays it back to Yanni. He fires at the length of the ice. 37 seconds remaining in the penalty to Sullivan. Jelena races for the dump in against Patrick. Comes around the boards to Bure. Bure throws it into the corner for Jelena. Jelena tried to go to the other side, and in attempting to clear, the Flames put it over the glass and out of play.
Gary Roberts has been a real inspiration to his team tonight. You see the collar around his neck. I think that's in part responsible for the fact he didn't get a shot on this breakaway. He's very, very sore up top. Watch as the puck rolls. That was the first problem. The second one, when he goes to his backhand, he lifts up a little bit. And the puck rolls off. Now, to protect his injury and the whiplash that he has these special shoulder pads with a collar on it. You'll notice Adams, the make of the collar. Greg Adams started this off as Roberts went into the net as a result of Adams with a great defensive play. This stops his neck from moving a little bit, reduces the chances of the whiplash getting worse, and takes away a bit of the pain.
Carson looks towards the net, lets the shot go. It's blocked. He gets it again. Another shot is blocked, and it's brought out by Titov as Sullivan comes out of the penalty box. Babbage starts back for Craven. 18,318 watching the action tonight at the Saddle Dome for the second consecutive playoff game. The building not sold out, as a matter of fact, for game one. 17,000 and change, the smallest crowd of the season in Calgary. Loose puck at the side of the net. Ronnie Stern took a swipe at it, and McLean protected the short side. Diddick for Momesso. Nieuwendyk is after him. Nieuwendyk managed to take it away from Momesso. Flipped into the zone, and Merzen gets it back to Momesso. Momesso can't go anywhere with it. Here's a chance now for Antoski. He just leveled McInnes in front of the bench prior to that puck being flipped ahead to him, and then he's taken down, and there's going to be a penalty. Brent Yanni took Antoski down back to the net, but prior to that, he hammered McInnes in front of the Calgary bench. 9:14 is the time remaining. Vancouver will have a power play when we come back.
Don't stand still.
Go.
If you need tires, pull into a Big O tire store today. Things are really hopping during Tire Value Days as your local Big O tire store features the right tire for you. Like the AquaTread from Goodyear. Because cars were never meant to float, Goodyear's AquaTread's revolutionary AquaChannel funnels water away to improve wet road driving and stopping. And the AquaTread won't sacrifice the smooth ride and handling you've come to expect from Goodyear.
A reputation you can ride on Big O tires.
Now, Yanni hog-tied Sean Antoski as Antoski drove around the outside. And this was a bit in retaliation for Antoski running over McInnes. You're not going to see the hit here because McInnes shoots the puck. And remember, we talked about in the first and second period about following through on checks. You got to make sure you're watching that. Antoski ran right over Al McInnes. McInnes had to get the puck in, but perhaps was not aware that Antoski was coming, and he really steamrolled him.
And Antoski at 6'4", 235 pounds, can run over people.
And he's very fast too, Don. In fact, a skating contest in a straight line that the Canucks had, Antoski beat Bure. Now, he can't necessarily put all that together and go around cones or players just as quickly as Bure, but in a straight line, boy, he has got some wheels.
Here's Titoff. Long shot. Left at the side of the net for Bure. He feeds Courtnall. Courtnall went the other way. That fooled Ronning as he had to hold up at the line. And it's dumped down the ice by the Flames.
Vancouver's had a couple of great chances now. This is the second consecutive penalty that the Flames have had. Sullivan had one a little bit earlier that his team killed off. Vancouver with a great opportunity to cut this 2-goal margin to 1.
8:17 remaining in the third period. Goal here by Vancouver, and it would certainly make for a dramatic finish. Bure has it. Bure is checked by Roberts. Roberts trying to get away. He does. And his shot goes wide, and again he runs into McLean, and there's going to be a penalty. This will be the third goaltending interference call against Gary Roberts in tonight's hockey game.
Well, Dave King is livid. And all I can say to this is what we've said before about Carey Fraser. Fraser has set the standard, and there's no use in trying to change that. He's going to be consistent. If you want to talk to him after the game, you have an opportunity. Now, you be the judge as to whether Roberts can get out of the way of the contact with McLean or not.
Well, this game is going to be delayed because the fans did not like that call, and they are littering the ice with debris. Many times the fans in Calgary are accused of being rather quiet. But with that penalty call against Gary Roberts, they have made this a very noisy building, and Gary Roberts has actually called for charging. But he had 2 earlier goaltender interference calls. I initially thought that was the penalty he was calling again.
Well, I can tell you why it's charging. McLean is in his crease. Roberts is upset. Here's the rule. A goalkeeper is not fair game just because he's outside the goal crease. Now, he was right on the edge in that particular case. A penalty for interference or charging should be called in every case where an opposing player makes unnecessary contact with the goalkeeper. Likewise, referees should be alert to penalize goalkeeper for tripping, slashing, or spearing in the vicinity of the goal. McLean certainly has not been involved in that. And as Carey Fraser tightens up his skates, Roberts tries to keep his composure.
Brain scan.
It's interactive, dude. You're in the game.
Intense.
Hello, Michael.
Insane. Interactive.
Never leave home without it.
And totally out of control. Brain scan.
Game over. You lose.
At theaters Friday.
GMC Sierra. The perfect way to get away.
Welcome back to the Saddle Dome in Calgary, where the maintenance staff is removing litter from the ice, and when all that litter was raining down on the ice, Mike Vernon decided the safest spot was right in the net.
Well, and he's being rather wise about it. Even when guys are your own pals or your own fans, they might not be so accurate. Vernon getting a little bit of protection. Boy, Roberts has been absolutely unbelievable in the effort that he has given tonight. I suppose I could argue one side or the other as to whether Carey Fraser is right or wrong in making these calls, but the fact remains that he set the standard at the start of the game, and you might as well recognize that he's going to stick to his guns for the full 60 minutes.
He's made 26 minor penalty calls tonight. The executive producer of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC is Ron Harrison. Tonight's game from the Olympic Saddle Dome was produced by Larry Isaac. Our director here in Calgary is Ron Forsyth. Calling the replays for this series is ISO director Don Moss. And a special thanks to all the other production and technical personnel who helped make this telecast possible. As well, the head of Network Television Sports is Alan Clark, and CBC's senior executive producer is Doug Sellers.
Well, from the 1989 series, there's a half a dozen players in the Calgary Flames that participated in that contest. Vernon, McInnes, Fleury, Roberts, Nieuwendyk, and Otto. On the other hand, the Vancouver Canucks have made a few more changes. McLean, Linden, and Adams. Of course, Adams not in the lineup tonight. We talk about injuries, of course, and guys that can't play because of injuries, but you also got to keep track of the guys that are bumped and bruised. Gary Roberts is one that fits into that category in a big way. Adams not in the lineup, as we mentioned. McIntyre got hurt the last game, and not much has been said about it, but he got checked over by the bench, rubbed his knee the wrong way. And Timmy Hunter also was hurt. Don, we had a chat with him this morning, and we said, how is everybody? Are you healthy? And he said, no, I'm hurt. We said, what's wrong? And he put his finger right on the end of his chin and said, here, this little scrape here. This is where Fleury got me with the butt end.
Tomorrow night, Hockey Night in Canada is coast to coast. Game 3, Boston of Montreal with the series tied at 1. That comes your way at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. And we're back in Vancouver for Game 3 of this series. The Flames and Canucks, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, Friday night.
Well, they have already scored 12 goals in the hockey game, and the Vancouver Canucks have a great chance now to cut the deficit to 1. They'll have a 2-man advantage for 37 seconds. Only once this season did these two teams combine for 12 goals in the 7 meetings. That was an 8-4 victory by the Flames here in Calgary on December 14th. The Flames won the seasonal series 4-2 with 1 game tied, but with a 2-man advantage now, the #1 power play in the league on the road during the regular season will try and get within a goal.
Well, the nice thing for the Vancouver Canucks is they've had about 3 minutes to discuss exactly what they want to do. They didn't have to waste a timeout. They still have that in their bag of tricks. But Quinn and Rick Lee and Stan Schmiel, Ron Smith on the headsets to Schmiel have had an opportunity to say, hey, here's what we're going to do. And throwing a bunch of garbage on the ice. If you're cheering for the Flames, even if you're against the referee, you've inadvertently given the Vancouver Canucks a nice opportunity to do some planning.
Vancouver had a 2-man advantage in the first period, but couldn't convert. Now Bure has it. Back to the point. Brown to Bure, his shot, and it whistles wide. Linden gains control. Brown back to Linden. His shot is right on. Vernon makes the save. Bure in the other corner. Back to the point to Brown. Brown fakes. Gives it over to Linden. Over to Bure. Bure at the side of the net for Ronnie, but it was checked away from him and back out to center ice.
Oh, a big miscue. Bure couldn't handle the puck. Jumped off the stick, and that gave Calgary a great break.
And Yanni comes out of the penalty box to deflect a rink-wide pass, and the Flames knock it down the ice. 1:10 remaining in the penalty to Roberts. Brown opts to drive it in. Now McInnes gets back first, and he's able to clear. Bure at the point tried to keep it onside, but he brought it back in offside.
Well, Bure with back-to-back 60-goal seasons, and in doing that, he's joined some very, very exclusive company. Just run down the list, and if you've ever played hockey or thought of playing hockey or just watched it, how would you like to have your name mentioned in the same breath as these characters?
Speaking about the gentlemen who have put together back-to-back 60-goal seasons, Steve Yzerman, again tonight, was not in the lineup of the Detroit Red Wings. Vancouver is having problems trying to set up. Very aggressive forechecking by Fleury and Tita. And now Brown heads up the attack for the Canucks. He dodges a check, gets it in for Jelena. Musa rides him in against the boards. McInnes checks Craven. The puck comes back to Bure. Bure against Fleury. Can only shovel it to the corner. Jelena picks it up. Can't center. And it's picked picked up by T-Top, and he fires at the length of the ice.
Well, you can see how Calgary has picked up some energy and some momentum from killing the 5-on-3. It's funny how you can be really tired, and when something goes right for you in a game, all of a sudden the shortness of breath and the lactic acid in your muscles seems to leave your consciousness.
Calgary now back at full strength with Roberts out of the penalty box. Yanni gets away from Memesso, and Roberts chops the puck the length of the ice, and this will be an icing call against the Calgary Flames with 5:33 remaining in the third period.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Dave King has to be very pleased with his penalty killing tonight. Vancouver on the power play scored 1 goal and 9 chances. They managed a total of 6 shots on goal while holding the man advantage, and on the last 2 power plays failed to register a shot.
Well, King didn't have much of a compliment for his squad in Game 1. When asked how he would rate their effort and their performance, he said, well, both were the same, about a 5 or a 6. And if you're going to win in the playoffs, that number has to be at least an 8. Vancouver was a 9, and that's why there was a 5-goal difference.
33-27, the edge in shots on goal for the Calgary Flames.
Gary Roberts right in the middle of things, and although he hasn't filled his hat from a point of view, he has certainly been one of the 2 or 3 best Flames on the ice. He and Nieuwendyk and McInnes have really led this hockey club this evening. Lots of solid players for Vancouver as well. Jellin has had a good game. Brown has been solid. Ronnie and Courtnall and Trevor Linden have been very good as well.
McInnes with a club record 5 points tonight. Gives it to Musso. Go! Ahead to Roberts. Long shoot-in is blocked. McIntyre runs into McInnes, takes a couple of swipes at him. Here's Nieuwendyk picking up the puck, throws it out front. Roberts couldn't get a shot away. McIntyre for Memesso. Memesso trying to get away from Musso, and the Calgary defenseman wins that battle. Lume for Merzen. Merzen is bumped by Otto. Those two have had something going almost all night. Here comes Lume, and another whistle and another penalty call. And Lume, a little upset with it all, bounces the puck in the ice and then drop kicks it into the corner. Stern was knocked down by Courtnall, and that was the reason for the penalty call.
Well, Stern and Courtnall had a little bit of a thing going up the ice. This game was starting to reach a fever pitch before this penalty was called. There had been some pretty good body checks and some challenges as Courtnall and Stern rough it up a little bit. Now you be the judge as to whether that was a penalty or not. No question, a little bit of retaliation by Courtnall, but a very little bit. Ron Stern threw some of acting 101 in there, and Courtnall got the gate. Now, you know how many penalties there were in the first period after Ronnie Stern had a chance to talk with Ken Daniels. He didn't even have to use the Hockey Night in Canada towel. There was hardly any lather on him at all, because guys that simply play 5-on-5 when there's only 4.5 minutes of that in the first period, there's not much time. A huge difference from Game 1 as far as production. Not a whole lot of shots, only 1 on average per power play, but when you can score 4 power play goals, who cares whether you've got 1 shot or 100? The Flames had 0 success in 8 opportunities 2 nights ago.
Craven brought it in across the line. Bure was desperately trying to straddle the blue line, but it was offside. 27 penalties in tonight's game. Not one of them a major penalty, all minors.
Well, Don, we've got 4 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the third. It wouldn't surprise me to see the game get rounded out with a couple of majors.
That's what happened in Game 1. This has been a long hockey game. We're almost at 3 hours. Immediately after tonight's game, the Canucks will charter back to Vancouver. The Flames will fly to the West Coast tomorrow afternoon. Game 3 goes on Friday. Game 4 Sunday afternoon. Reichel. Gets it to Nieuwendyk. He tried to go cross ice for a flurry. It was blocked before it got there. Reichel for Nieuwendyk. Back to the point. Zalapski turns, fakes the shot. Gets it to Patrick. He lets it go. And that's kicked up over the glass by McLean.
Now the real key for the Calgary Flames was to get back into this series and tie it up, win Game 2. When they haven't won Game 2 in the series, they're 0-5. For the Vancouver Canucks, the key for them was to come in here and get some confidence. I am fairly comfortable in saying that if Vancouver would not have had the kind of effort and success that they had in Game 1, that this series may have been very, very short. But through a tremendous defensive effort and some real disciplined play combined with excellent execution, Vancouver left Game 1 very, very confident. The regular season and the way it finished didn't give them that. Now with a bit of a crack in the door, they're much more comfortable. In this series, in all likelihood, will go a lot longer, and the winner is not simply determined by paper anymore.
Well, most of the experts, or so-called experts, had picked Calgary to win this series. Some had suggested 5 games, but I think many have rethought those initial predictions. This could be similar to the 1989 battle between these two teams that went into overtime in the 7th game.
Well, Don, I still maintain that it was much more important for Vancouver to have a good game 2 nights ago than it was for Calgary, and I'm also very comfortable in saying that in 99% of the areas where you evaluate hockey teams, Calgary, you can debate the degree, but Calgary is stronger in those areas.
Following the game, the Molson Canadian 3-star selections with 5 points tonight. I think I can safely say Al MacInnis will be one of those 3.
Well, I'm a big believer in looking at impact on a game, and Gary Roberts was a guy that really set the tone in this hockey game for the Flames. MacInnis has been absolutely outstanding as well. Nieuwendyk has had a very, very strong game, and Gary Roberts, as I mentioned, has had the most impact, even if it hasn't been on the scoreboard. The Vancouver Canucks haven't been slouches either. Linden has been strong, Ronning has been good, Courtnall's been good. Their defense haven't had the same opportunity to be involved that they did in the first game, because Calgary has changed the game plan a little bit, and there has been so many penalties.
36 seconds remaining in the penalty to Courtnall. Shot redirected at the side of the net by Linden. Brown had let it go from the point, and Vernon had to react quickly. Roberts leaves it for Reichel. Reichel for Fleury, couldn't get the shot away. Reichel looks at the side of the net. Roberts had it bounce over his stick. He gets it again. Reichel, the quarterback on this power play for Roberts. Back to Reichel. Reichel lets the shot go. It's wide. MacInnis checked by Courtnall, who comes out of the penalty box. Reichel tried to dump it in. Broken up by the Canucks, but they're having some problems getting it out of their own zone. Brown and Reichel bump in the corner. Roberts along the boards. Puck comes free, and a weak shot by Zalapski goes wide. 2:03 remaining. Here's Jelena racing after the puck, tied up by Patrick. Zalapski moves it up along the boards, but not up. Now a centering pass at the front of the net. Jelena trying to get a stick on it. Didick had come charging up into the play, and it bounced away from him. Babbage with a shot. That was redirected by Jelena. It went to the corner, and now the Flames dump it down the ice with 1:37 remaining in the period. And it's an icing call against Calgary. And Kirk McLean is looking towards Pat Quinn at the bench for some instruction.
Well, I'll tell you what, Babbage and Didick really put the pressure on. Quinn has put his glasses on to have a quick look. Didick comes in a real hurry. Now Babbage is waiting at the point. The puck comes back again. I don't know what it hit. I thought that this game was 1 goal closer after the shot that is coming right here from Babbage. Babbage really drifts this. Deflected by a skate. Somehow hits a pad on Vernon, and the game stays 2 goals apart.
Roberts, who really took a lot of abuse in front of the Vancouver net, in game one takes a shot from